I'm gonna do classic Riptor now and show how stupid that looks. Again, I appreciate the classics as an option, but it looks so bad compared to how cool Riptor looks by default.
That's not too bad. I mean, it's trying to be. Wait, are those like nipples?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right? It's like, is that really?
Female presenting nipples.
To be fair, male or female shouldn't have nipples because it's a reptile. They do not breastfeed, but you know.
Shut up.
Should reptiles have abs?
That's the funny debate.
Like, who cares? Just
True.
give it the abs.
Reptiles shouldn't have breasts. Shut up.
TrueUnderDawg wanted to share his comic first, so I'm moving his topic up here.
Dog, what's up with you? How you doing recently? Hey man, you got some big projects coming up?
Well, yeah, right now I'm actually doing a thumbnail, but you're probably referring to the comic book that recently was made public. In fact, I think just yesterday my main video went up to, it's 3 minutes long, so if Sonic wants to put a snippet of that here right now. How's it going, everyone? Or just like leave a link to the Indiegogo, that could also work. I'm very excited about it. I'm doing my best to market it. It's tougher than you think, honestly, because you would think, oh, views equals buys, but it really doesn't. It's really tough to market this thing. I'm trying to get it in the hands of as many people, or on the eyeballs rather, of as many people as possible that like comic books. So if anyone watching right now is even remotely interested, please check out that link down below. Have a look at it. It's only $10 per comic, really cheap, and it's 30 pages, which is about 10 pages more or 5 pages more than your average comic book, which is why it's a bit pricier. It's like, I think a regular comic is like $8. So it's a little bit more, but it's a longer comic too, and it's indie. Indie stuff always tends to cost a bit more to make because you don't have the power to buy in bulk as easily. So yeah, it takes place in the future. It's science fiction Las Vegas, right? I call it Nueva Las Vegas, and it's about street level heroes taking down the mafia-run casinos and stuff. It's really fun. Action,
Nice.
Sci-fi. If you like cyberpunk, you're gonna like it because that's the same kind of like aesthetic and style going on, with a bit of a retro thing thrown in too, because I'm trying to make the cars and fashion look like the 50s and 60s, because I just love that style.
Oh, nice. That's what like Deadlock has been doing recently too.
Like a mix of Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond.
I gotta come back to the call. I lost you guys somehow. Sorry, I just lost you. Like y'all froze. I'm like.
Oh, okay.
No,
We heard everything, by the way, just so we were
Okay,
good
okay.
here. Do you want to say the joke against?
So it's like a mix of Batman the Animated Series and Batman Beyond with the retro stuff, but also the future stuff, putting them together into one.
Sure. Yeah, I think now that you mention it, yes, the Batman animated series did have that cool kind of throwback to it with the style. Yeah.
Do you know about the game Deadlock, Dog?
I don't know. This comic idea is actually pretty old though, so I promise it didn't influence my
No,
comic.
no, I'm
but
not
let's
saying you
see
copied
here.
that. I'm just saying because Valve's game the testing game they've been doing recently, like Deadlock, their whole gimmick is like the 50s, 60s style, but like in this like making it like futuristic, steampunk kind of vibe. So it's like, oh, there's that. You kind of made it sound like a little bit like that. You're very different, by the way, just so you know. But I was just kind of like, oh, that sounded similar to that.
Yeah, trying to merge the future, but with like the style of like years past, because the style is just so dang cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely still all future. There's no like it's not like Fallout where there's a gimmick reason why the fashion and style is 60s. There's no like long World War III or anything. It's just that fads go in cycles. And right now at this point in the future, everyone's loving the 50s style again. So plus Mafia, you know. It's like that whole Mafia era, so
if there's any flashbacks to the main character's childhood, it might be a different era that's in fashion at the time.
Maybe.
That'd be cute.
I'm not sure if I have a reason to cut back to the main character's childhood, but we might flash back to his like adolescence.
Yeah. But it's like flashback 10 years back then. It was the 60s and the 50s came back. You would expect it to be the other way around, but weirdly enough, no. It's going backwards. Like society is backwards, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's loosely touched on since we mentioned like flashbacks and power ups and stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Snake. What were you gonna say at the end there?
No, it's finished.
Okay, sorry. I'm always a bit too early to jump into this sometimes. But we're talking about the characters and stuff, so and flashbacks and all that. Spade's past is why he has all of his abilities. He's not super powered or anything. He's more like Hawkeye. He's just very athletic, and he grew up in a circus because Vegas. So he's got like a lot of those abilities, and a lot of his powers are like what you'd expect like a parody Vegas superhero to have. Like it's implied in one part of the comic that he can get out of any trap really quickly, kind of like Houdini or like Showman in Vegas. So if you handcuff him, he'll be out of it in like less than 30 seconds when your back's turned. That's one of his abilities too. But yeah, They all have street level abilities and powers, except for some characters that have twists that are going to be revealed in later issues if this issue does well. In the first 5 days, we did manage to raise $500, which is pretty good.
Oh.
But I'm trying to keep it going. So again, if anyone watching is interested, please click that link. And if you're thinking about buying, I'd appreciate you do, because the more people that buy, it makes more people like also encouraged to buy. Sometimes it just takes that first group to like support something, then everyone starts supporting it. So I really hope that if you all like it, you will definitely consider buying it. That'd be great.
Yeah, I was originally already going to buy your digital copy because you kind of advertised that first, and you weren't sure if you're going to do like a physical. But then when you said you were going to do physical, I was like, okay, I'll get that then. So I'm not going to read the story right now because like I can wait for the physical. Just like I've done with your last top tier one too, which I still have it nicely wrapped here. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think you said about the physical ones that it's going to be expensive to ship internationally because of the tariffs.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to ship it out internationally to most people. It's going to be, if you're outside the US, it's going to most likely just be the digital, which I do stay on Indiegogo. I thought Sonic was just referring to how he and I are close friends, so I can probably get him the the physical copy. Don't worry, he's got to pay for it. Don't worry, everyone. He's not getting a free version or anything. He'll still have to pay for it and like probably cover some of the shipping. But I will get him a physical copy if he wants it, because he's my buddy.
Really appreciate it.
But otherwise,
yes.
y'all would be surprised how expensive it is. Not you guys, but people watching might be shocked how much it costs to ship outside the U.S. to certain locations. It ranges from like $100 to $200 just to ship outside the U.S. sometimes.
Are you serious? Holy. Yeah. Like $20,
inside
$30
the
shipping
US,
was
it's
already
$4
a lot already.
flat rate because it's a book. Books are cheaper. Yeah. Yeah, it just depends. And it depends on how you ship it. If you ship it with like the U.S. Postal Service, it's cheaper. If you try to UPS that shit or FedEx it, oh my God, it climbs to the 300s. Thank God I did not do that. I almost sent it to you for 300 because I was at the UPS store and it was right there. And I'm like, 300? I'm like, I don't know if I can swing that. And then I went to USPS and it was like, oh, it's about like $110. I'm like, oh, way more manageable. And they go, it's still a lot. I'm like, it is a lot, but you should have seen what UPS was going to charge me to send to where my buddy lives. Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, it seems like a fun comic. I remember a lot of people were saying like, these look like classic Mortal Kombat like designed characters that you've got, like that kind of vibe and stuff. That's what I've heard.
They're definitely a bit sexy. Like the comic's not like, it's not softcore, prawn or anything, but it does have sexy outfits. It's got some sex appeal to it. When you first see Ace the character, she comes out of the bathroom in her towel because she doesn't expect anyone to be in the room. So,
it's kind of thing that makes sense because obviously a lot of it's like a throwback to like classic superhero stuff. That is the style for a lot of the costumes, but also it's Vegas. Like flashy, showy outfits is like the way it is. Like maybe the setting will show like, oh, here's some guys in New York and they're all like modern gritty movie superhero costumes. Then it's like, and people are like, yo, those Vegas guys are way better. Their costumes are fucking great. You guys look like fucking losers. You look like you're gonna murder someone. Those guys look like real heroes.
Yeah,
depending on how on the nose Dog wants to be with his commentary with the comic, which I'm sure he'll be a lot more subtle about it than my silly little joke.
I mean, I do like that joke. It's pretty good though. There is a scene which I show in the. You guys already pre-watched it. At least I know Snake did. But in my video discussing it, I even mentioned how when they're picking out the outfit for Ace, which I wanted to do because you never see that very much in a lot of comics. They just show up in their superhero outfit. I wanted to show them actually going through and deciding on it. And a lot of those outfits are, for one, references to other comic book mediums. Like they straight up reference Marvel X-Men with one of the outfits and how it's a superhero outfit. But also a lot of them are earlier designs I had of the character from like years before when I was just doodling in college.
Very smart.
They're thrown in there. Yeah, and like his comment on it or her comment on it is something that someone else told me. So for example, he doesn't like the one outfit because it's too revealing. And she makes fun of him for it because that's exactly what happened to me. I was told by a professor I was showing it to that, oh, this is too skimpy, like no one's going to like this. But the women in the fashion department said it was great. So, joke's on him. Yeah. There's even a cyberpunk modern game kind of joke where she's more covered up and she's like, this looks a bit too like too gritty or something. So, yeah.
Yes, it seems like a fun project. I'm sure there'll be some concern among people who enjoyed the other comic you did and are wondering, what does that mean? What does this mean for that comic? Is that being put on hold, or are you going to be alternate between them like MK and Injustice? Like, is there a plan for these two going forward?
Top Tier number 2 was already being worked on, and actually Ace of Spades was was already being worked on when I made Top Tier. I was gonna start with Ace of Spades, which is the current comic, but I realized I should probably make my comic book author and designer debut with a fighting game themed comic. So I put all of it on hold to finish Top Tier, and now I'm finishing Ace of Spades with the crowdfunding. So it was actually the original. So Top Tier number 2 is still being illustrated right now as we speak. It's got SonicHaXD'd's favorite character because there's a scaly woman in it who even transforms reptile style in Mortal Kombat 1. She has a bigger, beefier lizard form that she turns into.
Beefy, you say?
Beefier, yeah.
Look at
and
that.
the artist,
look at
by
that
the way,
snake.
is fantastic.
He's literally pandering to both of us.
That's
look
the
at that
thumbnail
shit.
right there, Sonic.
Well, for Sonic, actually, to appeal to him, there's two main characters fighting in that one, right? There's going to be several fights, but there's going to always that central battle that it revolves around. Issue 1 was David versus Mercury. Issue number 2 is Lizard Lady, whose name is still pending, versus Thunder, the big Native American wrestler lady who appears in issue 1. So she got exposed grippas, so that's for Snake. So lots of feet shots and lots of lizard.
Look at that dog.
on.
Bastard.
Look at that dog. Both of us respecting Snake right there.
And that's how it's gotta be. That's how it's gotta be. There was one more thing I wanted to mention about Ace of Spades, but I totally forgot. I'm brain farting on it. It's something I wanted to mention, but drats. Oh yeah, the artist Rodrigo Sevilla. I didn't talk about him enough in my other promotions of it. He is really fantastic at redesigning my characters, for Top Tier especially. But with Ace of Spades, we kept Ace almost the same. I think he just changed her hairstyle a bit, but Ace looks almost identical to my vision. But Spade, the main character, is like his redesign. It's so good. I give him all the credit for that. Man, applaud. Having his mask be a literal spade was such a smart design choice. I was like, oh, I never thought of that.
So it's the same artist for both?
Oh yeah, I have the same artist for most of my comics, except for one more that I made that hasn't been shown yet. It's actually a graphic novel. And that one was illustrated by a Marvel artist who's very, very talented. I showed you guys that years ago, and you've probably already forgotten because it was such a long time ago that I showed y'all any of that.
I kind of remember, but yeah.
That one has phenomenal art that's like mind-blowing. Rodrigo's art is just as good, but it's more stylized, whereas the other graphic novel is like Marvel art and really detailed, like just tons of detail, not really as stylized.
I can't believe Dog got Alex Ross to try to draw one of his comics.
No, it was actually, forget Alex Ross, it was, what's that guy's name? Picasso. Oh, yeah, Picasso. Picasso made my comic, yes. That's a deep cut. No one's going to get that joke unless they're a Tosh.0 fan. No one's going to get that joke. Damn. Okay, say
yeah, thanks for sharing your comic. I look forward to seeing how it is, and but yeah, I will be putting a link in the description for people to check out. If this interests you, then support an indie artist. Support a little indie artist here. Give him some help. Give him some GoFundMe.
Yeah,
I'm already I'm gonna get my signed comic book paid price for that one for sure.
I'm looking forward to when the two comics both take off and you got enough support that you can make the crossover where the characters from both fight each other and it's like a parody of MK versus DCU.
That'd be really cool. I thought about doing some cute references where maybe in the sequel issues of Ace of Spades there'll be an arcade cabinet in the background and they'll be playing Top Tier. That could be fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Little cute stuff like that. Or even the opposite. Maybe in the Top Tier universe, they're reading a comic in the distance and it's like Ace of Spades. Maybe they're the real world and Ace of Spades is the fictional one, kind of like in the Watchmen graphic novel.
Or you do both, like The Simpsons and Futurama both reference each other as fiction. So it could be both are fiction to each other. Or maybe you even do it where one of the characters shows up and it's in the fighting game. It's here's a superhero in the fighting game because they licensed this person for the fictional fighting game to show up in it. And it's a play on guest fighters. I know you got other stuff planned for commentary on guest fighters, but that could be a fun one. The sky's the limit for True
All good
Underdawg
ideas.
comics.
Yeah.
Sky's
Right
the
now, like I
limit.
said earlier, this is the tricky part. The marketing is the hard part. It really is. You'll do a banger video and you're like, oh, surely this got a lot of buyers, and you're like, dang, not one new buyer today. Shit, this is tough.
Let me tell you this, guys. If you don't like True Underdawg's videos, and I know you won't listen to this podcast, but if you don't like True Underdawg's videos, you think, oh, is this MK, is a NetherRealm shill or whatever, or he's a hater, or he's just the same videos over and over again. You know what's the best way to get rid of him? Make his comics a success. Make his comics so successful, he won't even think about making videos again. Why would I go back to making these slop videos when I could just make these cool comics and people love them and they make millions of dollars? Make his comics a success, he won't make any more videos. That's a guarantee from someone who has no control over his actions.
It would also maybe make my content better because I would stop doing daily. I would just go back to doing like way more dedicated videos. It'd take like a week or something because that'd be easier to make alongside the comics. So you'd get better content on my channel and you'd get the the comics like more often and all that awesomeness.
Is that what the people call backhanded like compliment? Is that how you use the phrase? So
Sure.
Snake just said there.
It reminds me of his epic outro when he goes, if you don't like this video, share it with your enemies to make them suffer too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
comic.
too.
If you don't like my comic book, like you hate the idea of it, buy it for your enemies.
I was just thinking of a way to word it to make the joke myself, but yes, I'm glad we're all on the same wavelength.
I was thinking that was where you're going with too, Snake.
Yeah, so support this poor starving artist. He needs the money.
Poor starving
look,
artist.
Look at his background. He needs new figures, new anime figures.
It's not a real background. It's a green screen. I'm actually outside in an alleyway with a green screen just set up, and I'm like bootlegging the McDonald's Wi-Fi. So I'm just doing the best I can out here. My sponsors are all I have. This webcam was a sponsor, so.
So that's where all those background like noises. You're in the McDonald's and like people are eating around you. That's the kids, and they're getting their kids meal and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, actually,
so
these are not giant statues like you might think they are. They're actually really small, like 4-inch figurines that are really cheap. Like you said, they're McDonald's toys. The set's just really close to me. It's much closer than you think it is. I can't even back up a little bit. I can't put my elbows up. I'll hit Mika. She's right there. She's just
Dang,
really,
I want an
really
IV Happy
small.
Meals toy.
Hey, dog. When you turn to the right, can you see like all the the bad content creators who fell off having to work at McDonald's now? Can you see them?
You mean like the Mortal Kombat 1 hate channels that now have no content, so they're just gone?
Yes, those guys.
I mean, I'm kind of.
Fries in the bag, little bro.
I get it now. Did you? I don't know.
We're all here in the alleyway. We're all here streaming from the alleyway. I'm out here with
Did you know I used
Frogan,
to,
and
it's like, did you know I used to be a Mortal Kombat 1 hater YouTube channel? Put the fucking fries in the bag, bro, please.
hey, it's not even an insult anymore because now fast food jobs have gotten competitive with their rates because they charge so much for food now. Like I still have it. Like I don't know why I still have this because it was randomly given to me in a meal, but Panda Express is paying like $20 an hour or something like that. And I'm like, bruh.
My dad's laughing at a cosplay.
Oh, okay. It looks good though. It's clean.
He said I look like him because I've got white hair now.
Ah, nice.
He's in his fucking 70s, so he said I look like him. I told you, Sonic. I got one white hair in my head today. It's over.
What's funny is like about 30 minutes ago, my dad just came in too, and I had to be like, recording.
I never knew my father. I wish he came in on my YouTube videos. Oh.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
I'm gonna do classic Riptor now and show how stupid that looks. Again, I appreciate the classics as an option, but it looks so bad compared to how cool Riptor looks by default.
That's not too bad. I mean, it's trying to be. Wait,
it is when you see the original. Like this is like their modern
are
version.
those like nipples?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Right? It's like, is that really?
Female
Well, to be fair,
presenting nipples.
I mean, to be fair, male or female shouldn't have nipples because it's a reptile. They do not breastfeed, but you know.
Shut up.
Should reptiles have abs?
That's the funny
Like,
debate.
who cares? Just
True.
give her the abs.
Reptiles
the
shouldn't
abs.
have breasts. Shut up.
The human anatomy they give dinosaurs is always funny too in media. Because even the modern Riptor doesn't have the abs, but has like human arms. Like that's a bicep, tricep, deltoid. That's like literally our arm.
I noticed that. Yeah.
It is an artificial dinosaur. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if
yeah.
you're gonna argue, oh, you know, this dinosaur shouldn't have human anatomy. It should have feathers as well, and no one wants that.
Feathers are only cool if you do them in moderation. Although she does have feathers, I thought. Oh, it's just one of the outfits. Yeah, Riptor did have feathers in this game with a certain palette. God, this game was amazing.
3, 2, 1. It is time. Oh, see, I looped it all back to, like our very first episode talking about Mortal Kombat 1, and now I'm saying the same intro as our final time talking about Mortal Kombat 1. Please clap. I felt very poetic doing that. But yes, welcome to the Combat Kings podcast. Today, as we can see here, Force Snake is wearing his celebration outfit. This is a very monumental moment because Mortal Kombat is officially, actually, literally dead. Not like last time where we said it was dead. Now it's
M1K is officially dead, not MK as a whole.
Yes,
you just said Mortal Kombat implying the whole franchise is dead. Warner Bros. Killed it off. It wasn't making money, so they're just going to kill off the whole franchise. The movie's cancelled. It's going in the vault. It's not going to show up on streaming. It's done. It's over.
That movie's its own weird separate can of worms, too, because we still haven't seen a trailer for that movie, and it comes out in October, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what the hell are they doing?
October.
They've got to extend it. If they don't get a trailer out soon, I imagine they're just going to extend it. Like, they're going to be like, no, never mind, it's coming out in November. Actually, December.
They've already stated they're done filming. We have, like, posters. We have, like, shots of the movie as if a trailer came out. I still think the most baffling thing to me is how, like, the movie skins are in the game. Like, now. And the trailer isn't even out yet. The movie isn't even out yet. It's like...
Well, that's so they can release the complete edition with all the content and market it with those costumes, because otherwise they have to wait on that for a few months. They want to do it now to get it all out of the way, to try and recoup some of the losses now, instead of saying, well, waiting a few months. Like, they want the money now. Sure. That's how that works, because it's Warner Bros.
And also, I was checking Steam today, too. I was checking Steam today, and it seems to imply that if you buy the definitive edition, those movie skins are included. Like, they're free, I think. So that's also why they wanted to show those, because they're like, well, we're getting the definitive edition out right now, so let's just throw those in there too. You get these. Yeah.
It's so funny because I actually went on the store page for this complete version on PS5 a couple of days ago, and all the screenshots are of those costumes. There's nothing for any of the DLC characters or anything. It's just these costumes, and the characters are included, of course. They're on the cover, but they're not included in the actual screenshots. It's just, here's movie Katana, here's movie Johnny Cage. Why?
Which, by the way, it's still not the definitive edition, because there's still stuff coming in like later Invasion seasons, like those royal dress outfits for Katana, Melina, and Tanya still aren't in the game.
I guess
they may throw in Shao's hammer at some point as a gear piece. We'll see, because you can fight against it. Like, it's not just a cutscene thing. We see the enemy using it, so theoretically. Yeah.
So let me I'll defend NRS with this. Like, technically speaking, all the royal dress things, all that jazz is in Invasions, and Invasions is going to like cycle like every 8 seasons. So like every 8 seasons they will come back. So technically speaking, everything is in the game right now.
Yeah.
Like,
but
in their
wait, can
in
we currently get those yet though? I thought it was the next Invasion season when those outfits become available.
Yeah.
It is a little concerning.
There's gonna be an update. They said maybe to like a balance change or something.
They did say that. Well, actually, why don't we explain why we now know officially why the game is dead?
I just want to say, I think technically, because there's no physical edition, they are still able to update it even after releasing the complete version. And I hope they do, because there's still some story mode costumes we don't have. Like half the festival costumes are not in the game yet. Not in the files or anything.
There's a list. And Snake has made that list. And now I'm even more pissed after they made that tweet. Like, really? You are not releasing those? Like, it's in the game. Not just the cutscenes. Some of the, like, the festival stuff are only in the cutscenes. Fine. Festival Johnny, Festival Kung Lao, we're never getting that. Lost Media. Fine. Yellow Chameleon?
Also, second time they've done this, by the way, too, because MK11 also had costumes in the files, like for Kung Lao and Liu Kang wearing the Kotal, like, what was that outfit? It's like the Tarkatan. No, it's the Kotal soldiers in disguise.
That was really funny, actually, because they did an Osh-Tech season of Combat League skins where they edited Johnny, Kano and Liu Kang's, the shirtless versions, that have them wear sandals and have the body, a bit of body paint on. Jade got one based on one of her costumes, and it's like you could have just put Liu Kang and Kung Lao's in there as really fancy new costumes, because they would occasionally make proper costumes, not just, or at least put more effort in, like when they put in the human versions in the Revenant outfits and not just retextures. So I don't know why, if the models exist, just put them in the game. I know you have to put in work to make them be like fatalityable, otherwise like you'll just have like clones of the models ripping apart like when you do it on Chronica. But just it's a bit of extra work and people will really appreciate it. But they're like, no, we can't do extra work because work is hard and expensive, and we need to move on to the next game to sell more season passes.
At least we have the hook mod now, so if y'all are on PC, and if you don't have it on PC, it might be worth getting it on sale. Although, did the definitive edition replace the regular version, or is that still on sale for like $10 or $16?
It's still the same game.
The March version of hook mod still works.
No, not the mod, the game itself, the full version of the game,
It's just a bundle of the game and the DLC. So it's still the same game, so the hook mod will still work on it no matter what.
Okay, I feel like I'm not being heard correctly. No, I was asking the default version of Mortal Kombat 1 for sale on Steam. Is it still really cheap? Like $6 or $10
cheap.
like it was?
Yeah.
If it is, my advice is going to be for anyone watching to buy that, because it's super cheap, and you can use the hook mod, and you have all the costumes for free. Which maybe I shouldn't say that because NetherRealm big mad at me, but they can fix it with one update.
Dog.
They can fix it with one update. Like they just don't want to, so I'm assuming they're okay with it. I made like 4 videos about that, and no one got mad at me. Nobody emailed me, nobody DM'd me, which they never do anyway. But I thought maybe if they were mad at me, they would. So.
Well, you may be silently blacklisted, dog. So when the next game comes out, we'll know whether they are mad about it.
I always run that tightrope. I'm always wondering that because before MK1 got announced and they invited me, before that I made a lot of videos trashing MK11 and they still invited me, so we'll see what happens.
So here's the thing though. Hook mod, great. You can get all the skins, and you can even use the story mode skins, like the hybrid Tarkatan skins that is like not available in the game currently and stuff.
Yeah, true.
However, you do have to keep in mind though, as cool as hook mod is, if you play online, no one's going to see your skins, which that might be an important thing for the player and stuff like that.
Yeah. There are limitations to it with modes you can use some of the stuff in. Like you can use the playable enemy, like the enemy Janet Cage as an actual fighter, but you can't use that in say like normal verses where they have intros and stuff. I don't think you can use it in a tower run. It's basically just for practice mode, which is good for content creators because we can use it for videos. But you can use them in Chapter 15, so you can swap out your character for like Janet or Titan Havoc. And just Titan Havoc.
Swap ninjas.
Titan Havoc. That's a costume they've not done actually. Titan Havoc with the Kamidogu in his body. Where's that costume?
That one I think is fine. That's a special boss character. That's like playing as Corrupted Shinnok or something. I'm like, whatever. Like,
I want to play Corrupted Shinnok. Don't you understand?
Sure.
If there's content in the game, I want to be able to use it, and that's not unreasonable to request.
Same with Floyd. Like Floyd should be usable in like a fun mode of some kind. Yeah. People have said they want to play Floyd. And I just want to check on Steam.
Which you can with the hook mod, I'm pretty sure.
You can, yes.
So if you want to go beat up Reptile for a combo video with Floyd, you can do that.
You can't do a T1000 with a hook mod because you actually have to buy the DLC. Yeah. Unfortunate. I just want to check on Steam. It is $10 more for the definitive edition than the base version. So $10 more, you get all the DLC characters and the costumes and all that jazz. I think it might be worth it if you want to get the game anyways, the definitive edition. Whereas I don't even know how much we paid for the base game, the DLC, Chaos Reigns pack, and all that jazz. That is like over 100, right, for us, I think.
Oh, for sure. And there's any Dragon Crystals may have gotten for costumes and stuff like that. Like it's probably in the ballpark of like $200-300, if not more.
Yeah, but like I was saying earlier, like, how do we now know that the game is officially over? Well, Mortal Kombat official's like Twitter account made a statement a couple days ago, and this is how we now know. Like, okay, it's
a couple days ago. It was like a week and a half. Almost
couple days means weeks. A week. Okay.
It's like 2 weeks ago, dude. It was on the 23rd. It's currently the 2nd. Bro.
Fine. Half a month, okay? Do you want to be so specific? I don't know.
Yes.
See, Sonic only watches my videos. He's my favorite orbiter, so I didn't talk about this until 2 days late, which is why he's behind on it.
Yeah. See, I'm your biggest fan, TrueUnderDawg. I watched your Injustice Well, okay, I watched one of your 3 or 4 Injustice videos, but I watched one of them.
You know what this means, right, Dog? Since he's one of your orbiters, it means that if someone makes a hate video on you, you can let Sonic do a reaction video, and then you do a reaction to his reaction, and use his talking points to defend yourself instead of having to come up with your own.
Snake, that's all I've ever wanted, is for people to fight my battles for me, especially people that say the same things I do, but for some reason don't get trashed like I do. That's all I've ever wanted.
That's why me and Snake don't say the same thing you do.
When it comes to critiques of the game, you usually do. You're even harsher than me. But if I critique it, it's like, oh my god, Underdog's just bandwagoning. Underdog's just like riding the hate trend. And I'm like, what? I purposely sought these people out to make a podcast with because I agree with them on stuff.
He likes cameo fighters. Sorry. Can't defend that. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
I like the depth that cameos bring. Yes, I think it's better than variations.
Too.
Yeah, because variations suck, man. You get your moves taken away. That sucks ass. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I want to play Sub-Zero and have my slide and my clone. God forbid I have 2 of the moves that he's had for decades and the same variation.
With this tweet, basically, they're like, patches will still happen. You know, the game will still be patched and fixed. So if Tremor is still dominating in the meta right now, that hopefully will get like handled. But anything else, like it says, there will be no additional DLC characters or story chapters released from this point on. I guess they didn't specify like no more skins, but I think that's pretty clear. Like that's what it means right there.
Yeah, like, the general assumption is that there's no content. It's just they'll balance stuff. They're not going to see new cameo moves. We're not going to see anything substantial. It is possible that they could be like, well, we're not going to make new content, but some of the models that we've made for the cutscenes, we could put them in. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that down the line and go, here's like the final update. You know, when they do the final balance patch, like here's the final update. Here's Yellow Chameleon. Here's the festival costumes to celebrate. You know, like the final update that makes the game feature complete.
Celebrate. Here's Sindel without her headgear, guys.
Yes, let Sindel have no headgear. Why the fuck is this not an option?
It's not even canon. She wears that damn headgear in the game.
She no version of her that
never wears it in the story mode.
I don't think even the Chaos version does. I think no version that appears in the story has headgear.
So Snake, you're correct, technically speaking, that the headgear never shows up canonically in the story mode. However, in Chapter 13, Evil Sindel does not wear it in the cutscenes.
But in gameplay.
But she does wear the headgear during gameplay. It's one of the this kind of headgear.
So it's like Raiden in MK11 when he doesn't have the amulet in the cutscenes, but in gameplay on launch he did. I think they patched it out later, but he was like that. I think Kano still has the wrong chest piece, the past version, for his final fight with Sonya as well. I don't know why this is so difficult. Like, this isn't like redrawing it and then you forget to include certain details or whatever. It's just keep track of it. Like, okay, in this cutscene, the character's got this costume, this gear for the gameplay, this costume, this gear. How is this difficult? It's a fucking list of 4 items you have to keep track of per character. How?
So
I know the answer. It's just not a very good excuse, but I know how it happens.
Incompetence.
It's because the people who are in charge of the one thing don't work on the other thing, and they don't talk to each other.
So, yeah. I want to make this conversation even more funny. So,
Bloat
in the game
is the answer. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
when you're fighting Dark Raiden, cameo Sindel, this is what she will look like in gameplay. But she doesn't have that in the cutscenes. And then also, here's her render when she's a cameo fighter when like you're fighting against Dark Raiden.
Another one.
And then, when you fight against Dark Sindel during that chapter, she doesn't have the headgear. However, here's her render. This is the render that they use when you fight against Dark Sindel. Not only does she have the headgear...
That's good, Sindel.
That's the render. That's the render they use. She's got
Gotcha.
no white eyes.
Head. I see what you mean. Yeah.
And she doesn't have white eyes.
Somehow it wasn't even the eyes. It was like the collar. I noticed. Like, but the dark version doesn't have the purple collar. That's the base version. That's a terrible costume. I'd recognize that terrible base costume you had a rant about.
I know it's like a mini rant or
thanks
something.
for reminding me of that.
Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
No. I just said
I know
I didn't notice this default outfit there. Okay, thanks for telling me about
Gotcha.
that. I gotta write that down.
Yeah, that's why she has the eyes. Like what I know they've done it before where they've had like eyes in the wrong place, like when they revealed MK9 Scorpion for 11, and the eyes were just fucking wrong, and then they fix it for the final thing, and it's like, how does this keep happening? How are NetherRealm so fucking inept when it comes to stuff like this? I know it's a small thing, it's not a big deal at the end of the day, but it all adds up. It happens so often. Why is there no oversight on this stuff?
Yeah. Well, this game we know why. It was rushed out the flipping door. That's probably one big reason why. The funniest example is always going to be the subtitles not even being done. It's just code.
Such an
That
Even
was
that didn't get
legendary.
done. That's going to be the funniest example. But I was going to say real quick, a minor like art thing. NetherRealm needs to either hire more like ladies to look at this, or just replace who they do have, because no woman looks at this headpiece and says, "Yeah, I'd wear that." Like, no lady would be caught dead. It looks like garbage, and it covers your eyebrows. It makes you look like a dumb mannequin, or like you're bald and don't have eyebrows. You know what I mean? Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Who thought that anybody would want this? Like, a good idea of like designing a character is like, oh, would people like to look like this? And like, yeah, I'm a badass. If the answer is no, then you probably shouldn't put it on your character. It looks stupid. It looks stupid.
A lot of women put a lot of effort into their eyebrows. Like, it's weird to cover it up like that.
Well, it's a huge
That's
part of
so
expression
funny.
too. Anyone who watches this video and draws can tell you if you don't draw the eyebrows, looks really weird. Like, not everyone can pull off Super Saiyan 3. All right, that's all I'm saying.
That's so funny. I did not even realize that's just default Sindel. That is the render they use when you fight Dark Sindel. This is the type of shit I'm trying to notice for my videos, but it does happen quite a lot. Like, I'm gonna have to fix my video in like chapter 5 when you have Kung Lao as your cameo fighter. He has a completely different hat that he never wears in the story mode. It's just like I just noticed that recently and stuff. It's all over the game in these renders for some reason. It's really funny.
It's one of the things you have to keep in mind though, is you do have to compare now to release, because sometimes they do fix it. It was a late addition in my MK11 critique when I talked about the fact that they did actually
Scorpion.
they patched out Hanzo in the background when it's supposed to be Scorpion. They did fix that. I think there was another example somewhere else in the story where they did fix a cost what being wrong. As far as I know, Injustice 1 still has the wrong Hawk Girl during the Gotham siege, and I think there's an MKX cutscene that also has an issue somewhere. No, I think of MK9 when you beat Shiva as Jade and it's the wrong costume, which is lying on the floor. That's still in the game, as far as I'm aware. Like, they do
Pre-rendered
patch them
cutscene,
sometimes.
so
Yeah, that's the thing, because it's pre-rendered, it's harder to fix. You can't just go in and go, okay, here's the code for the cutscene, okay, skin 1, change that to skin 2, fixed. You have to re-render the entire scene.
as far as I'm aware, every single Mortal Kombat 1 mistake that I've caught, whether it be like Kenshi not like holding Sento or like the Tsugaru shit and stuff like that, like or I just saw these renders, I don't think a single one has been fixed. The only thing they fixed is the subtitle error. That's the only thing I can think of that has been actually fixed right now.
Yeah, because that's the one everyone caught and jumped on them for. And it's like,
that one's really easy to fix. Just like just one line change, done. So I can get that.
It's also the most important one to fix, because if someone is hearing impaired and they're going through the game, like, they don't know what she's saying because it's literally just garbled text. So that objectively has to be the priority. I think there was like one or two other times when that exact same issue happened.
Oh really?
I'm pretty sure there was. Obviously, it's all been fixed by now. So, but you can probably go launch day, all cutscene compilations on YouTube, and probably find one. Or someone might be able to point it out to you. But I'm pretty sure there was at least one other a bit later in the story.
In Mortal Kombat 1 specifically? Oh,
yes.
okay.
It's funny how we're talking about this, because there's a really cool video on YouTube right now. Don't watch it yet, people. Watch our podcast first. But there's a video covering like all the cut content from Mortal Kombat 9, but it's more so even tiny things that were in the trailers and stuff. And back when NetherRealm was a smaller team, I feel like they did a really good job like using what they had to make the trailer look more convincing. Like, for example, they didn't have Johnny Cage's X-ray done yet, so they gave him Melina's, but you can't tell because they cut it correctly. And when Nightwolf does the lightning strike on his body, they didn't have any way to show him glow blue because they hadn't done that yet. So they just had him glow yellow because they still had the rage mechanic from MK versus DC, so he turns yellow. It's all this fun little stuff that they did to like cut corners and save time. And I'm like, man, I kind of missed that version of NetherRealm where you can tell they're clearly all working together to get something done, at least enough.
And there were times when they would reuse stuff. Like I believe Sub-Zero initially used a different X-ray initiation animation, and they changed it, but then they reused that for Rain, which is one of those fun things. And then
they did.
And it's just also interesting to look at stuff like, Johnny Cage had a different haircut originally.
Interesting.
Yes, that's true. Also,
it wasn't like spiked up. I think it was a lot flatter. And it looked shorter. And then there are other stuff like that, and that's always interesting to look at and go, oh, that's different from the final game.
Yeah, that specific video you're talking about, Dog, has been recommended to me many times. So if you're saying it's good, I'm gonna go watch it now.
It's fun. Podcast. It's just it's very fun. It covers way more than you would think from the title, because like I said, the trailer gets broken down to all the stuff they changed. Yeah.
Do you remember the story trailers for MK11 when Past Scorpion had that awful, it was a black mask instead of the yellow one? And again, it's a case of they fixed it for the final game, but this is Scorpion, the iconic ninja guy with the yellow mask that contrasts with his black hood because his outfit's yellow. How do you make this mistake for a trailer? How does that get past the people who have to set the cutscene up, record it, and send that footage over to the editors for the trailers? They edit the trailers, and no one catches it.
Yeah, I think they changed his chain too.
That's not a black mask. What are you doing? That's not a black mask. Look at any of them. Yeah. It's fucking yellow or gold. The duck has it correct. The duck has the correct mask over here. Why are you so inept?
And yet, I still think MK11 is a golden standard when handling or correcting things more than compared to Mortal Kombat 1. Even though we're talking about these mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You were gonna say something, Dog?
Oh no, I think I was just agreeing. But I noticed they cut stuff too. I think the chain was different in one of the early trailers. Scorpion's chain in that one scene that flies past Kung Lao's face and hits the post. I think in the final version it was changed to a rope because the past version of Scorpion did use a rope, and it was a chain in one of the early trailers. Or I could get it backwards, where it was a rope before and then it got changed to a chain.
I think that's how they did it.
They may have also removed his dab. I'm not sure if his dab is in the final version of the game where he dabs to teleport.
It's in the final. It is. It is.
Because that's the animation. You have to redo the motion capture. That you can't fix that. But if it's just
it's great.
A bit of a simple aesthetic thing, you can fix that in post. It's fine.
Yeah, and of course we know all the blood got changed, which is a funny thing too for MK11.
And then Scarlet's look and Sonya's face got changed.
Oh yeah.
Sonya's face got changed. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, which could be why she only has one face for both time periods, because maybe they just said, "Fuck it, just take the other one and just use that." Because maybe that was the idea, is make a Ronda Rousey-ish face but look older, and it just was fucked. There's also Baraka's voice. If you listen to that original reveal, Baraka's voice sounded a lot more like MKX Reptile. I think they artificially deepened it for the final game, and so Baraka does sound different compared to M1K, where it's just Steve Bloom doing that kind of voice, as opposed to deepening his reptile voice from artificially to make it work, similar to how they deepened his voice artificially as the villager at the start of M1K, or Jennifer Hales as Damashi. I don't know why they're so weird about this. It's such a strange thing they do.
It is weird, especially when you're trying to convey that Damashi is supposed to be Chronica, or the fake out. It's why don't you make her sound just like her? You literally can make her sound just like her by pitching her voice up a bit. And it's okay, is this a thing you're gonna change every voice? No, Johnny sounds the same, Liu Kang sounds the same, and a bunch of other characters sound the same. Okay, it's a weird change.
It gives the impression that the scene is supposed to convey that we're not supposed to realize it's Chronica. We're not supposed to realize it's Chronica. We're supposed to think it's just some woman. Then maybe you recognize the voice. You might go, that kind of sounds like her. But you look at her and it's no. We're supposed to literally think it is her, because that's the twist. That it's not, which you can't actually tell. There's no real hint towards that. She doesn't do any Shang Tsung stuff. She's usually going around doing this with the hands and all that the eccentric hand stuff that Shang Tsung does now. But no, it's just a twist that happens out of nowhere, which is generally not how you want a twist. The best twists are ones where if you go back, you can see the hints and go, I can't believe I didn't catch that. But that's so right. That's the best kind of twist, not one that just goes, I guess that's how it is now. And again, it's understanding from a writing perspective, you don't want people to figure out the twist straight away, but do remember, I worked out the Shang Tsung plot twist from the first reveal trailer, so,
You did. You did. You very impressively
not
did.
to toot my own horn or anything, but, Doom toots as he pleases.
even in even in my playthrough of the game, in the reaction, I'm just like, oh my gosh, Snake got it right while playing the game.
The prophecy is written. Oh.
So you're saying I've got another cameo in the next part?
Shit, I actually don't know if I kept up. I forgot if I kept up. I think you'll find out. I actually don't know if you got a camera or not.
Sounds like you'll find out as well.
Yeah. I may or may not still be editing the video, so we'll see. But so we kind of talked about the tweet that they released about how it's may not be more content or not. Whew. They also made a second tweet underneath that talking about how they acknowledge the disappointing the fans about this and that they are focusing on the next project already, which this tweet did prompt a lot of people getting pissed off at the
very mad. People were very
sure.
vitriolic about this. I mean, I feel like the fandom has largely just gotten more vitriolic over time. Because people were not shy about
feel that way.
People were not shy about voicing the fact that this was infuriating for them. Some because of the whole amount of time it got support thing, and that's a whole other discussion. It's way too complex to just kind of bring up in a tweet. It kind of needs a full discussion. Yeah.
Hey, at least they told us. A lot of these games don't tell you, but that is I know it's the bar being on the floor. But I just wanted to bring that. That other games don't even do that. They just end, and it's are y'all done? And it's yeah. Oh.
True. But yeah, that's it with Mortal Kombat 1. It seems like I'm pretty sure we will still occasionally still talk about the game once in a while if there's anything interesting or there's any maybe the tournaments that's happening recently or I'm still making the series. I'm still going to be making those videos talking about each chapter and stuff like that, so you'll be hearing it a lot from me. But as of right now, I think major updates or every time this new thing happened, this new character, all that stuff that we usually do on the podcast, that's done. I don't see us doing a weekly what's new with Mortal Kombat 1 kind of stuff. We're probably not going to talk about every single new season of Invasions. I don't think. Well, I don't think I'm really going to even play.
There's nothing to really say. It might be they put this costume in there. This season you can get this red palette for MK11 Sector. It's in there.
Joke's on you guys. I'm going to exclusively stream playing Invasions, and I'm going to have a monopoly on that shit.
And I'm going to become... You got to speedrun Invasions. You're going to be the first speedrun Invasions. You got to get the world record because no one's doing it.
I'm going to drag it out and make it last as long as possible.
Dog, you should have been the one making all these Invasions guides. Yeah, it should have been you. Not leave it to these other people on Twitter. You should have been going, I'll just blaze through it and just get it all in a day. And then I'll make videos and go, haha, here's how you get all the stuff, guys. You could have been majorly successful. You passed up your chance to be a success on YouTube, dog. I hope you're happy.
I think you're grossly overestimating the demand for that.
Making
That's a very
Tekken
niche
videos.
thing.
Fuck you.
Oh, what are you saying?
Don't you want to cash in?
I said you were making mid-Tekken videos instead.
Damn. They're pretty fun. I like how the King one is the legit opposite of Fakumram, despite it being the exact same situation. Just the audience reaction was different, but it's the same problem.
It's not the exact same situations because people like Armor King, at least.
It's the same broader issue.
Well, people liked Fakumram too. He's the most played character, apparently. It's just that,
It's the same broader issue.
I didn't
for those
like
who
him.
don't know. Basically, Fakumram was this. Did we talk about it last time? Or
we did.
Yeah,
we
probably
did.
a little bit.
To summarise, the issue is the fact that every single, even with Armor King being announced now, every single DLC character in this game, with the exception of the guest, was in the previous game, and only one of those was base roster last time. All the rest they're selling you the same character again. Every single one. Imagine if, Nightwolf and Shang Tsung and Sindel and Melina and Rain would DLC this for M1K. and they're just selling you the same character, and they all played the same as well. Like no overhauls that we got in the final game, just the same characters again.
Yeah, excited for season
wild.
3.
It's ridiculous. That's why I'm glad my comments actually have both types. It has people going like, I'm hype, but then like the most upvoted, they're like, dude, Tekken players have the worst like memory of all time. They're like, y'all were just mad about this. But I love this tweet on Twitter that I saw because of Ernesto Lopez's videos, you know, button check. It was so funny. Some guy posted on Twitter, he's a pro Tekken player. He said, why is Armor King able to breathe fire? Isn't he a regular Mexican? I just laughed at that, the way he worded it. He has no powers, in other words. King and Armor King have never had any supernatural abilities.
That's
so
not about, it's not
funny.
powers. At least that's how I look at it.
It's like how in Street Fighter Brazilians have electric powers. It's just one of those things. It's just...
Yep.
It's
Well, except it's consistent though in Street Fighter. They always have it. King's never had powers. But then again, I know what it's going to be. It's just going to be his new Poison Mist ability where he spits in your face. Instead of mist, it's going to be fire. That's the only thing that's going to change.
Yeah, like he can communicate in growls and people can understand him. That's a superpower, being able to talk like an animal.
So I always thought it was like some sort of like a prop in his mouth.
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
probably pyrotechnics. Yeah, and
but that's why I always thought it's like a stage play kind of a thing. That to me at least. I don't think it's like supernatural, but.
Sure.
Who knows?
Just like how a lot of King's throws clearly imply that the opponent is going along with the throw, because they even get in a position to make it easier for him to do. If you watch the animation, like they'll roll over onto their stomach to make his throw easier and stuff. It's pretty funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's really goofy. Love that shit.
I
was gonna also say, I love how Tekken never explained. Tekken never explains why they can all understand each other, because to explain that would be somehow more confusing than just accepting that it's how it is.
Yeah. And I love that for it.
Yeah. It's one of the things that makes it unique. Well, Virtua Fighter did it first, but everyone speaks English and Japanese, though, which is even weirder. It's like... Tekken was like that too initially. It was Asians speak Japanese, Westerners speak English. But then Tekken started branching out a bit with Tekken 5. But everything else is just everyone speaks English. Even people from other worlds in MK speak English. Street Fighter characters... Yeah. English or Japanese, depending on the dub, but everyone speaks the same language, even when it makes no sense. But fuck it, the alternative is every character needs an interpreter who comes along and goes, "Oh, he said this." No, don't do it. Sometimes you can let realism lapse, especially in a series where people can throw fireballs. Like the language barrier is not the weirdest thing in any of these settings.
I know it
is a fun staple for Tekken, I think.
It's in line with what we're talking about. I won't spend too much time on it, but this reminded me of this character, because I'll explain why. And don't show it yet, Sonic. I want to build up to this. So like Snake said, every character in Tekken normally speaks their country's language, typically, right? Then along comes this character in Tekken 7, who for some reason speaks English, does not speak her country's language at all. And if I'm being honest with you, I can't really even tell that she's supposed to be from that country at all. And her fighting style is Thailand. It's Muay Thai. So part of me wonders if they just weren't sure what the hell they were going to do with this character, and then last second we're like, she's from the Philippines. And her name is Josie, which is also not a Philippine name.
I'd say we're lucky because they didn't have her speak Japanese, because that's normally Tekken's default. Like Lars Alexanderson, he's half Japanese, yes, but he doesn't know that. As far as he knows, he's just. I think he's Swedish. As far as he knows, that's all he is, and that's all. That's his entire nationality. But why is he speaking Japanese as his primary language? Is he at least Elisa, the Russian robot, was made for Jin, so it makes sense. Lee, the Chinese man, was adopted by Heihachi. Xiao Yu has lived in Japan for years, so that makes sense. Although they should have like foreign accents and not just sound like they're from Tokyo. But yeah, like. Sometimes it's just really weird, but we're lucky that this character gets to speak something that's not Japanese, because that would have been even weirder.
She's not coming back either, by the way. I'm sorry to the Josie fans out there, but not only has Fakumram replaced her, but it's clear they weren't going to take this character anywhere. They tried so little with her. Like, they did the bare minimum.
So you're saying they did... Like Harada did what he threatened to do with Lucky Chloe, like replace her in certain versions with like a big skinhead muscle man. And that's what he did, unironically, to this character.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I was gonna bring up something. You guys are the Tekken nerds, so I wanted to ask this. I remember someone bringing up in the Fakumram trailer that, like, because he has a special interaction with Brian, and Brian will actually toss like a metal thingy. I don't know what are they called. He'll toss that,
The steel
and he'll
girder.
say die. And people were saying like, well, that's the first time like he's talked in like 10 years.
It's true.
Well,
and he used to speak. He
yeah.
spoke in Tekken 6.
6. Apparently,
no,
that was the last time he spoke.
Well, 6.
That's what I saw.
In 6, it was text and scenario campaign. He didn't actually have any verbal lines. I'm pretty sure, which is weird because they did change his voice for that game compared to 5. Like all the characters have kept the same voice lines consistently for years. Like Nina kept the same ones from 4 up through 7, even though she had a different voice actor from 5 onwards. So all of her battle cries and a bunch of her intro and outro lines were unchanged. They fixed it with 8, fortunately. And this was a rant I was going to go on in the big Tekken 7 critique if it ever happened. But for Brian, they changed his voice and Jack in 6, even though they don't get new dialogue. And then, as far as I know, Brian hasn't spoken verbally outside of Cross Tekken, like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, since Tekken 5, where the weird accent thing goes, I should thank you for giving me power. And he's apparently voiced by the guy who played Eddie in Silent Hill 2, the original, which is just mind-blowing. But that's just how voice acting was done back then, just get people who were in Japan most of the time. But yeah, most of the time now he just laughs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone brings up like how Asuka fell off a cliff in terms of lore and the writers forgot about her, but I'm realizing now that Brian could be on that same spot. Brian used to have so much stuff happening in every game with his lore, and now they just don't use him at all. He's just either a jobber or some sort of goal to overcome, and he's just there. Same with Fang and everyone else, because even though it gets people mad at me, I have to say it, Tekken might have like the laziest lore lately. They're not even trying with 90% of the roster.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at characters like Brian's a good example, like you said, because initially he was like a rival for Lei Wulong, and then he started shifting more towards Yoshimitsu, and in 5 he and Yoshimitsu have like a vendetta against each other. But then it's like, but why are both of them still in the roster? They can't have killed each other, or they won't be in the roster. Well, Yoshimitsu's sword lost its power, so we had to get a new one that's evil, and it's trying to like take his soul or whatever. And Brian's just off doing his own thing, whatever. And he just shows up, fights a random strong dude, or he'll fight Yoshimitsu again in his endings and get killed or kill him, and they'll do that for like 3 games in a row, but none of it's canon, so what is the point? And I don't even, did he show up in the story mode for 8?
In
Brian?
Was he in the tournament? He was in the tournament, right?
Brian or Yoshimitsu?
Brian. We're talking about
Brian
Brian.
shows up in the big final battle, and that's it, I think. He has the minigun.
He wasn't.
Oh, he does it. He's only in the intro. You're right. He's only in the intro.
He was only in the
that's
intro.
So funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
That's the thing. It's just insane the way Brian was never a major character, but he was a character.
He was still an OG.
He had different things going on. He had goals and whatnot, and different stories. But then after 5, they decided no, he has to be locked in this rivalry with Yoshimitsu or fight another strongman, and that's all he's allowed to do. He's not even a jobber for the villains like Kano. Kano gets more play than this guy. This guy is fucking worthless now. And it happens to so many characters. I complain about Nina and Anna so many times, how their story just goes nowhere, and they have to come up with dumb retcons to explain their stupid continuity errors. Like, oh, Anna's rocket launcher is called Tom. But wait, no, Nina liked Tom. She liked Jerry. Oh, well, actually, Nina changed Anna's bio through hacking just to fuck with her. And what the fuck are you talking about? What the actual...
I don't know. I think that one's still
yesterday.
funny, though. I think that one's still kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought of this yesterday, Snake, because it's so funny to me that Harada, instead of just changing the text, which would have been super easy, he said, no, I'm going to invent a lore reason that retcons something that's been canon for a while. I'm just going to retcon that instead of fixing this little tiny typo that could be fixed. It's almost commendable in its weird way of doubling down. I chuckle when I think about it.
There are some Harada lore changes that are pretty bad. Reina, but I actually do like that one. That one I think is okay. That's funny. That's like classic Tekken hilarious shenanigans. So I don't care.
What happened to Reina should become a term for stories in general. Like getting Reina'd should be the term for when a new main villain character is pushed super hard, and then in that same game becomes redundant by a DLC character, or becomes like second bidding after a DLC. That needs to be a term. Getting Reina'd. Yeah.
Yeah, the issue with Reina is unfortunately she's...
Is that just when when it's in one game, or does it mean if, like, in the previous one they set up, this is clearly what this is going to be, like the Revenants? MKX is like, they're going to be the next threat. Then MK11's like, nah, Chronica. Chronica's the thing we're going to do.
I personally want it to be the same game for it to be getting Reina, just because that's way more specific and therefore more rare. and it'll be like a very literal. Otherwise, it's a bit more of an umbrella term that can happen a lot. But I can't think of many games where they establish this character. They're pushed super hard in the promotional material. They have a big role in story mode. Then they're even the big teaser at the end. Like, I'm going to be even bigger in the next game. And then the DLC is like, no, by the way, you're like my runner-up because I'm back. Daddy's home.
well, didn't Street Fighter do that with JP and Bison? Or is
Yes,
that different?
That's true. That's true. Unless in the next game, JP still plays a big role. But if not, then yes, that is a great example.
You could argue.
Well, because they both copy each other. I swear, the Tekken guy and the Street Fighter guy meet in a room all the time, and either they share ideas and copy each other without mentioning it, or they legit say what they're gonna do. That way, like, it kind of damage controls. It's like, okay, I'm thinking about bringing back Bison because I'm out of ideas, but I'm worried the fans are gonna get mad because a big part of 5 was that Bison finally died. That was like his send-off game. And I kind of want it to matter, but I'm not sure where to go, so I'm going to bring Bison back. Plus, he'd sell like crazy. And then Harada just reaches over and goes, shh, I'm right there with you. We already planned to bring back Heihachi, even though Tekken 7 was all about killing him.
I personally
if
think...
we both do it, we can normalize bad writing, and the fans won't be able to complain, because everybody does it.
As funny as that is, I also personally just think they were sharing the same wavelength, because... who's the biggest, baddest, who's the big boss of the series? M. Bison. Heihachi. So that's going to sell. That's a small fry. Who the fuck gives a shit about him?
Yeah, I think Noob could qualify because the amount of setup is like, oh, he's a new character in the game. Oh, what's he going to be doing in the story? He appears in one scene and loses to a character who has never met him before.
Listen, here's what you do. You take the fan favorite villain and you just downgrade them. Like, immensely so. That's what we did. And you have them lose every fight in story mode. That's what the fans want.
Oh, have it.
We took Shao Kahn, everyone's favorite Sigma male, and had him subservient to the Dami Mommy, who used to be his hoe, that he brainwashed. Sorry. I'm using, like, Gooner, Gen Z terms. Yeah. I'm speaking Gen Z for our
but you
young
see, here,
audience.
isn't that a funny thing? It's like, would you rather have Japan's, like, we can never let go, please bring back our beloved favorite villains again? Or would you rather have the American, like, you think Shao Kahn's the big bad? No, Chronica. No. Oh, no, actually, another Titan's better than her. Actually, yeah, now Shao Kahn is just like a little general. Goro, the winner of the champion, we're gonna nerf him so we can make other characters look cooler and stuff like that. Don't you guys want that? Isn't that the best thing ever?
I love how Titans are just not even a thing anymore because they didn't want to keep going with that Lovecraftian horror idea for MK11, which is what the Titans were. They were like Lorecraftian level creatures that are like concepts. Like Chronica was time. Some other Titan was probably space. Another Titan was probably like, I don't know, one of the 7 deadly sins or some shit. That was the idea. But then they're like, we can't really go anywhere with that. So let's just make it to where in the next game, anyone who has the hourglass is now a Titan.
Yep.
Because that's the lazy option. That way they're just the same people. We don't even got to change their appearance that much. We just give them an evil outfit. Because for some reason when you're evil, you have to dress evil. Almost like you're self-aware that you're the bad guy. Even though Chronica did not dress evil. Chronica actually, you could have thought in the first trailer, was a good guy because of how she dressed.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Well, that's
in the very first one, I mean, when she has the hourglass just petting it. But like she was a good guy.
It's a comic thing because like in comics, when women turn evil, they get skimpy BDSM attire, and men get evil armor, which is often like spiked or bladed, but it's just evil armor. And it's a weird thing. Like that's another one of those awful influences that MK should not have taken from comics.
Like, never forget Supergirl becoming Britney Spears when she became evil for Darkseid.
Like, do you remember that time when all the good guys show
Sonic has
up?
no idea what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
I actually don't.
I'll show him. I'll get a picture.
Like, Liu Kang walks in, he's got all his Titans, and like Raiden's got a decent outfit, so is Kung Lao, and so is Kitana. Everyone else is just in like a generic toga, and it's like, why? Oh, except Reptile, he gets like a weird foxhound sneaking suit for some fucking reason. But
Power Rangers ass looking.
Yeah, and everyone else is just hearing these togas. It's like, oh yes, I'm a Greek god now. I'm Zeus. Don't you know? That's what I am. That's what my aesthetic inspiration is.
The dog's camera was just moving on its own. It's kind of creepy. I don't know if you saw that.
No. I did see that I had white hair in my in my hair this morning. So it's basically the end. It's basically Jova.
It's look, it's life, okay? It's all good. I also think I saw something very fuzzy just then. You were holding. Do you want to wait for Dog to come back before you do the grand reveal? Oh! Oh my gosh!
It happened.
He turned into not a million years. I think that line is especially funny because it's a wig. Okay, you look great, by the way. I gotta say this cosplay, but I know what you're doing, but like for a split second, you remind me a little bit more of Ash Crimson with that hair. Like that kind of style.
Oh hell yeah! Look at this Giga Chad over here.
Look at
Hell
it.
yeah.
See, he's actually the trench coat from the show, but it was cheap, so I was able to get it. And now I'm like, but because I got me this on underneath, I'm DMC1 Dante,
Hey,
the most swag,
nice.
stylish version. But I need to get
DMC1 Dante's design is clean.
Yeah, just
Got
in
a lot of
time
blue in it.
for Hideki Kamiya to be saying, "Oh yeah, he's thinking about remaking DMC. He'd want to remake DMC1."
Sure.
I'm like,
sure.
I'm like, if you can't get Ruben Langdon in, just don't bother.
True.
Don't get Johnny Young Bosch to do it. It'd be really weird.
No. Oh, what if they got? Was Ruben also the original voice actor, or was he only?
No.
Was he started from DMC3? Yeah. What if they
from
got the
3.
original one guy back?
I don't know if he does anything voice acting anymore. That's the thing.
To be completely honest with you, I kind of want him to adapt DMC2, just because everyone already hates it. So just do what you want, and I don't think anybody will give a shit. And give the red hair girl some actual stuff to do. Let her come back.
We were on a topic we were just complaining about like video game story modes in general. But I actually kind of want to change a bit of the topic, and because I've been watching Dog's like videos recently, I gotta say, Dog, you turned 180 real fast. Your opinions on the next NRS game, like, oh, that's definitely gonna be MK, huh? Couple of Injustice tweets, guys. Get ready for Injustice 3, guys. Are you guys ready for the Injustice 3 hype? I'm ready. I've been saying it all along, guys. Oh, here we go, baby.
I never said that. I say in those videos that I thought it was MK, and that's my thing in the bet. I never say that I thought it was going to be Injustice 3 until
at
now.
least you've been making a lot of videos talking about your opinions about Injustice and like why would they make Injustice next? Let's think about this, and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it still seems like it could go either way because the comments, whenever I make a community post and a lot of the comments are saying like, dude, no matter how much logic points in the direction of Injustice 3, it's such a money vacuum. It's like, I doubt they'll do it. Like, it made less money than it gave us in DC. And it's like, yeah.
Well,
Injustice 2 did not do very well. It did not do very well.
It still made money. Like, it's not like they broke their company back in the day when they did this.
Personally, I still think the strongest piece of evidence you could really look to is for what it's going to be is the fact that MK is going to be a franchise they're going to be putting a lot of focus on at WB. No one else makes it but NetherRealm. And they've not said DC is going to be a big focus, but Batman is. And that's going to be over at
Batman literally means DC. Like people in the comments are like
they
looking
would have
at you
said
like rolling
DC,
their
but they
eyes.
said Batman. Because that's
and I think they do even specify they mean the Arkham games.
Yeah, so that's going to be the big
wrong.
focus. So where else is MK going to get made? Unless they did get an action spin-off made, but that seems unlikely. I'm sure NetherRealm probably would want to do another Injustice game. I'm sure they got tons of ideas. I'm sure some of those bled over into M1K. Because remember that was set up a multiverse ending with like in Green Arrow's ending for 2. It was like, oh, here's the multiversal Justice League. This may have been something they brought over from a scrapped version of Injustice 3 plans. You never know, but I think, in all honesty, it's probably just going to be another MK game, whether NetherRealm likes it or not.
I think Super had this idea, and if they go with it, it would actually maybe be okay for WB because it would be very efficient cost-wise. And it would be very ironic because a lot of people thought that Mortal Kombat 1 was Injustice 3 and then got changed somewhere down the line, which is why the guest characters are all DC, why some of the characters loosely resemble DC characters with their gameplay and stuff, and their looks are a bit different. But wouldn't it be funny if instead the opposite happens? Yeah, but wouldn't it be funny if the opposite happens instead? Where they use the format of MK1 but get rid of the cameos because no one liked that. and then you do Injustice 3 with all the air combos, similar juggles and stuff, and similar mechanics even with the meter system and all that, but you just do DC characters, and of course you make the moves different, but it would still play and have the exact same engine of MK1, but just Injustice. If they did that, then maybe WB would be on board because it'd be so cheap and cost efficient.
Thing is,
And I don't want to hear shit from anybody complaining, saying it's lazy because other fighting games did the exact same thing and people were silent.
I think
I don't
know
think
what
there's
I'm
anything
talking
lazy. Yeah.
personally, I think cameos could really work for DC because there's a lot of characters that you would never be able to get in a full game, but here they are as a cameo. That could be fun. But
Yeah,
also,
but everyone hits the gameplay, so you can't do it again. It's not about like how cool it would be. It's about that there's so many angry people about it online
yeah,
that you
but,
probably just
but,
shouldn't do
but
it.
that's the other thing is I think that they could win people over somewhat if they change the way it works. Because I feel like if they made it more like the character just jumps in, does an attack, and jumps out, and you're not held in place, and it's not tied to like your ability to break out of stuff doesn't tie into them as well. Like if they made it more of like a bonus rather than a core feature, people wouldn't mind it so much. But it's because people want to play MK a certain way and they just can't because of the cameos are so heavily baked into the system. Whereas if it's just like, here's an extra thing on top of the core system, I think people would be more receptive to it.
Here's my idea. I'm like continuing off from Snake. Make it so much more basic, where it's just like you're literally like, I don't know, say you're playing Batman, and then you use your Zatanna cameo, but instead of her actually coming out, it's just like a magic cat like it gets tossed across the screen or something like that. And then you can pick like 2 of these very low budgeted quote unquote cameo fighters, or some of them you don't even need to make the characters, just use like a projectile. Or if it has to be melee, then maybe you can use the character for like one move.
That's just a
like
tower
that.
consumable at that point.
Yeah, but you can do 60 of them, and it would be so low budgeted. But then you can be like, oh, there's the move. Oh my gosh, guys, there it is, and whatnot.
No, these aren't bad ideas. I just think the only correct option is to just scrap it completely because, I don't know, you gotta appease the normies that really hate the cameo.
I feel like one thing they could try is they could try doing a tag thing and like call it the dynamic duo system for Injustice, and it's like, well, it's about 2 people. Or if you're going to do a crossover, MK and DC, you base it around that, and it's like, well, you don't have to do an MK and a DC character, but that's how they show it off all the time. So first off, the trailer is like Batman and Scorpion, and then Superman shows up alongside Scorpion, and Sub-Zero's there to help Batman or something, and they fight, and it's like 2v2 is the thing. It's a tag game. Because, I mean, MVC is one of the best known like tag fighters, and it's a big crossover.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to lean into. It gives you a way to play as more of the characters, and that really ramp up the fact that yes, this is a crossover. It's not just, you know, not as many fights are just going to be Scorpion versus Sub-Zero in an MK-DC crossover. It's Scorpion with a DC character and whatnot, you know.
It's such a shame because if not for the cameos ruining everyone's palette, it would be so hype if in one of the trailers it showed like 1v1 characters line up, then the camera just pans over and a second character walks up beside them, and it's to show tag team, but so many fans would think it's immediately cameos and go, no, they're back.
Dog, you seem the PTSD most out of all of us. This last minute, you're like, if cameo fighters weren't so bad, if people didn't hate cameo fighters so much, I think you've been
and to be fair, I think
cameo
that
fighter
anger is
pilled a
misdirected.
lot.
I do, but and I do think it's overhated too, because I've done polls and was shocked that cameos weren't even the top 2. Like I do like 4 options of what they hate the most in MK1, and cameos never won. So that's just my audience, to be fair, but I still think they would be honest and say, yeah, we hate cameos if they did. It was usually something else. So. Yeah.
But yeah, dude. But to be fair though, I do not see cameos like ever returning in another game, like
no, they
ever.
Won't.
But like tag team or just some type of assist really easily. I was thinking like those faction Mortal Kombat X fatality, like that kind of level of like low budget and stuff like that, like something like that. You know.
The thing is, like, because the way I suggested it, the idea that it's basically just like a small thing on top of what's already there, it would allow the possibility to just easily turn it off. So you could have modes that, because that's the thing people want is they want modes without cameos. But if the cameos are the simple surface level thing, it's easier to just have a mode without them, as opposed to the game we got, where they are so fundamental to the way the game plays that you can't just remove it so readily. I mean, there are certain things that can work, like story mode, but still, it's not. It's actually no, just prove myself wrong. Fuck.
It's one of those things. Someone did a great job explaining it, and it was a smaller YouTube channel. I wish I could recall his name, but he explained why the cameos are not able to be turned off, and it's because NetherRealm put so much effort into balancing them and working them, and also wants them to be part of the DLC bundle, at least for Combat Pack 1, when that was all we had at the time. So they're not going to give you the option to turn it off, because then all that extra effort they put in feels almost worthless. And he's not wrong, because despite how much everyone likes tag as a concept, in MK9, almost nobody played it after like the first week or two. Like they were done. Like it was never touched. Almost nobody played it online. So the demand is there in theory, but I'm not sure it's there like in a tangible form. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I would love tag, but I feel like if they brought tag back, it would have to be default, like in Tekken Tag 2. And you have the option to use one character, but you get a damage buff and a health buff or something. But it's tagged by default. Otherwise, no one's going to do it. That's what history has shown. And I could be wrong because history does not always repeat. But the famous expression is that if you don't learn from history, it happens again.
Yeah,
so
of course history,
it could just happen all over again.
Repeat. What do you think he is, you? Oh, everyone knows history is the superior MK tuber. Oh, oh,
Ping.
By the way, apparently
From the
Injustice
show.
2 had this same Supergirl. It's just in Darkseid's ending. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
It's such an
would you look
iconic
at that?
look. Yeah.
Such an iconic look.
I don't think they did it in the movie version of that comic, though. I think she just...
They did. Yeah, I was looking at that too, actually. In that animated Supergirl movie, yeah, that outfit shows up. It's just a bit different. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been stuff like that before. Like there was a Teen Titans comic where Supergirl had like dumb like arms, like spikes on her arms, and like her hair was all like pointed up and frizzy, and it looked very silly. This is what you do for some reason.
Well, don't forget the cringiest one in that
stuff, and it's like, in live action they just wear black. And they get
yeah, exactly. It's super easy. They wear black or red, maybe some eyeliner or something to look creepy.
That's another one.
And then the Superman show, which I actually like the Superman show that came out recently, the My Adventures with Superman. I'm not going to call it an anime because it's not a freaking anime, and I'm so tired of people calling things anime just because they look slightly a certain way. But
yeah, it's American, right?
Yeah, but that show did the worst version of like evil form Supergirl, where she's just wearing a robot suit. It looked really stupid. I was like, damn.
Which is funny because she had a suit of armor in the CW show because I think she was like, I think it was to absorb sunlight or something, or to protect her from kryptonite or something like that. I think she'd been poisoned.
It's pretty much
for
a
while.
solar suit.
And that suit
and also it's a Brainiac
that's in
suit.
Injustice 2 Mobile. Like if you go on MK Warehouse, shout out to MK Warehouse, finally getting the Injustice section back up and making one for the mobile game and Injustice 2. Mainly because after Fortnite, it's like you have no excuse anymore, dude. You have to do other collaborations. But he's got it all the WWE Immortals on there, and like if you go on there, you can see like the weird suits with like the faceplates and everything that Supergirl wore on the TV show for a while, and it's like it's just silly, but sure.
I didn't know that. I have to look at this. I'm very curious now. I have to look at this. I'm excited. Oh.
It's wild how many extra characters that game had. Like it had Batwoman, they had Cassandra Cain in the first one. They had Killer Croc was playable in the first one. They've had they got Peacemaker in Injustice 2, which as far as I know was the last.
Was John Constantine in it or no?
Is that Ocean Master or is that just Aquaman?
I think
that's
just
Aquaman, I guess. Yeah, okay. It just has
It
an Ocean
depends
Master
which
skin.
Looks like him, maybe.
They have lady version of Batman from that other timeline.
Yeah,
from the Dark timeline.
Aquawoman version.
Yeah. Who does not look like how I'd picture Aquawoman Batman to look at all, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, I think she's called like Selena Wayne, so she's like kind of technically Selena Kyle as well.
Cool. I see.
But it's just funny because you look at some of these designs and it's like, oh, like it's the ones they chose for Sub-Zero are just terrible. I don't know why these are the costumes they chose to represent Sub-Zero. Oh, they got the evil brainwashed Batman from the Superman ending.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, and then got a few of the movie costumes, cool original.
You guys are just scrolling through a warehouse right now.
Yeah,
it's really cool all the stuff they have.
You got The Rock, Black Lightning from the show.
I agree with Snake though. I was very disappointed and underwhelmed when I saw the comic version of Sub-Zero, just because comic Scorpion in the first Injustice was such a unique design. I was like, wow, they really nailed it with this. Like, it feels like he's in a DC comic, but it also fits the Mortal Kombat vibe. And even the artists at NetherRealm were like, dude, we were like so impressed and thinking, damn, why didn't we think of that? Like a giant scorpion as the sash. Why did we never think of that? And
yeah, and they put it in MKX and MK Mobile, and it's like, yeah, I know some people don't like it, but it's a really cool way to be like, what if Scorpion was a DC supervillain? And it looks really cool.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero, though, I think they're going for like a Black Ice type thing. It's okay. Maybe they took inspiration from his ending from MK vs. DC, where it becomes like the MK universe is Batman.
The Batman.
But it is a bit too blue for me. I felt they should have toned it down a bit. But I still
I
think
like
it's
the
better than
Ice
Raiden's.
Gauntlet arms, though, at least.
Yeah, the ice stuff is really cool. I think he has some I think him walking in on the ice, breaking under his feet, it looks so cool. And then you look at Raiden, it's like, what do they do? Why is he bare chested? What's with this new mask? Oh, it's hideous. Get off my screen.
Oh, it's hideous.
They put M1K Scorpion in there. What the fuck?
They did? Like recently or something? That's funny.
2 versions of him. Why?
To be fair, the Injustice games always had a lot of interesting outfit choices. Don't forget the anime Komi or whatever it's called in Injustice 1, where they're like cosplayers.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
No, it's based on a comic.
Oh, it was?
Gotcha. It's one of 3 different women-focused reimaginings of DC that they did. That one was an anime one. There's one based on like World War II era propaganda posters. That was Bombshells. That's the one where they all got random nationalities. Harley Quinn's British. Ivy is French, I think. Catwoman's Italian. Supergirl is Russian, and it's just all kinds of weird stuff. It's a fun read. Then there's Superhero Girls, which is like the dolls for girls one. But like
never got this either.
Amikomi was basically for teen boys because they're all in like sexier versions of the outfits.
Hell yeah,
Basically.
brother.
By the way, I do see John Constantine in here, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Hell yeah.
yep, they got him.
Hush.
That's a
They've
highly
got
requested
Hush and
character,
Hawkman in
I feel
here.
like.
Holy shit. Killer Frost. Oh, from the Flash version. They have Ocean Master.
Some of these are really interesting characters.
Yeah,
I kind of want to make a video now
Silver
about all the
Banshee.
costumes we see in NetherRealm, either story mode or somewhere else, and they should be in the game, but we just can't use them for some reason. Because this one goes up there. I'm pretty sure Brainiac Superman is never actually unlockable and playable.
No. As far as I'm aware.
There
Unless
is.
unless it's like super deep into multiverse mode where no one's ever going to see it.
No one dares to
True.
tread.
Are you gonna bring up like the arcade ending costumes that are only in the arcade endings? If that's the case?
No, because like they
those.
do, it's artwork. So
Yeah.
I mean, like
Okay.
when it's actually a 3D model that we could reasonably use, you know, like repurpose.
We all wanted the timekeeper costumes everyone got in their MK11 endings, but
Oh yeah, so
the fact
pretty.
that they didn't do them all is not a big deal. When the models are already in the game and we don't get to use them, like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I do think it's kind of funny we don't get those when they're in Mortal Kombat 1. It's like you see the Timekeeper Raiden, and he doesn't look anything like that.
And I
and
just
whatnot.
remembered one too. That's such a last minute change, but it just shows that like I guess the politics in NetherRealm changed last minute because in the Injustice trailers, the early footage, which it looks very alpha, like Supergirl has the busted face, looks terrible. Her
Yeah.
outfit's entirely
remember
different,
that.
but also Wonder Woman's booty cheeks are just hanging out, like she's wearing booty shorts. And then they changed that later on. They added some like gross extra thing beneath it that looks super fake, and like you wouldn't wear that. Kind of like how the cami looks in Overwatch, like the cami skin for Widowmaker has like that extra netting beneath.
I know what you
Which-
mean. Yeah.
Yeah, a lady even commented on my post being like, as a woman, I'm just really confused what that's even supposed to be. Because that doesn't exist. Like, I've never seen a single outfit that has like just random netting below. Like, it looks really weird. And I'm like,
It's literally the ESRB outfit. Like, you just have to add that, or we're not going to allow you to have this outfit in the game.
See,
That kinda-
Gutex
that
and
kinda
Mike
feeling.
Ross warned us about this. They warned us what would happen when fighting games went mainstream and esports became a thing. They warned us about this, that we'd lose all the things we love. Now all the default costumes have to be family friendly.
In an R-rated game. Well,
Even
okay,
though Marvel
I'm not sure
Rivals
those
is
are-
proving you don't have to do that, because Marvel Rivals said, fuck it, yeah, we're going to put big mommy cleavage in this game. Deal with it. Even though it's like a T game, like, or is it an E12 game or something? Like, it's a...
Yeah. Emma Frost is just casually out here with like a huge ass hanging out. She's got like cleavage right down on to her belly button and the black outfit. It's like they're just like what it's like whatever we're gonna do whatever. And sometimes it's not even we're adapting the costumes faithfully. Sometimes it's just like malice. Fuck it, we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want with this one, and we're gonna make it as sexy as we want it. And people are like, I like this game.
Cool.
Yeah, it's almost
just
like
keeps
people
getting
want
better.
that.
Now we've got Venom twerking and Emma Frost like throwing the money, like dollar bills onto him.
I told my girlfriend
It's like
about that, and she had the exact reaction I expected. She went, "No, they keep hoeing him out." And I'm like, "Yeah, Venom's even more of a hoe now."
It just
'Cause
keeps
she loved the
getting
Venom
better.
cheeks memes. She liked that. She didn't mind them like everyone made fun of his cheeks being out and all that. And like she didn't mind that even when they showed his new costume, the Christmas one, how they start off his reveal
That is
with
so
a butt
funny.
cheek shot.
Yes.
Like they know the
remember
meme.
that.
I was like, sweetheart, they know. Look at this. But now they're just whoring him out. Like now he's just a hoe.
What do you call it? T for Teens, Marvel Rivals. I just looked it up here.
So it is T14. Gotcha. Yeah.
Marvel Rivals, yeah.
And probably
So,
mainly because of the
anyways.
violence, but yeah, also then it's got some partial nudity
Yeah.
going
So,
on.
anyways, I will say this about Injustice. Actually, I want to bring up one thing that I think it can be an interesting conversation because in your video, Dog, you actually brought up like the reasonings as to why they would want to do an Injustice game for their next game, and like usually like they shouldn't. It's like they've been saying they definitely want to like hone into Mortal Kombat. It's like that's like the most successful thing. How could they want to do something else? But if they did want to do that, why would they want to do that? And you kind of like brought up your points. There was one point you brought up that I thought was interesting, and I'll say what you said. You were saying that perhaps because of how many people are hating on Mortal Kombat 1, that if they released an Injustice game, that can distract the audience from hating on Mortal Kombat 1 and put their attention onto Injustice. You said something like that, right? I remember you said like that.
Yeah,
in
and
your
also
video?
because it's that combined with the fact that people, like big people, like Maximilian Dude and some couple other large streamers have even said that like MK fatigue is setting in. Like we need a break, not just for us,
True.
but NetherRealm deserves a break to do something different. That way when they make the Mortal Kombat sequel, it's fresh again. And another point I can mention that I forgot to even think about until just now, it just popped into my head. This could also technically increase the sales of the next Mortal Kombat game because it'll create more demand, because it'll be like a good like 3-4 year gap before it's like here, and that could create more demand. It could be actually why MKX sold so well is because you had Injustice in between. It could be why Mortal Kombat 11 sold so well because you had Injustice 2 in between. So it created that like demand. People are like, man, I like Injustice, but I miss my Mortal Kombat. I gotta scratch that itch. Whereas you went from MK11 straight to MK again, and I think some people were like, oh, I mean, I like Mortal Kombat, but I have Mortal Kombat already.
I agree. That's
know?
why I was very shocked when it was MK11 and immediate Mortal Kombat 1. I was like, oh, no Injustice? No, like, nothing in between. Just instantly MK to MK. Like, yeah, the MK fatigue is starting to be felt a bit. Yeah, I agree with that.
You underestimated the power of Sushi Squad Kill the Justice League. Like that's also why a lot of other stuff is getting canceled. Like I think Wonder Woman and stuff. Like they really saw the feedback to Wonder Woman in that game, and we're like, no one wants Wonder Woman, which is ridiculous because for one thing, different game, different Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But also, I don't dislike Wonder Woman in that game at all. I think she's fine in the Sushi Squad game.
No, Sushi Squad.
I don't think anyone disliked Wonder Woman. I thought people, from what I've seen, most people think she was one of the highlights of the game.
The only
If they
people that
actually
dislike
played
Wonder
it,
Woman
but
are the
people
people
who
who
didn't
dislike
play
her
it.
looks. That's it.
Yes.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, she's
Which is
buff,
ridiculous.
ugly.
Yes.
That's it. That's all the complaints
People
I've
who
seen about
shouldn't
Wonder
be
Woman.
listened to because they're just like, oh, she looks mannish. And it's like she's a warrior woman. They made her
And
tall
listen,
and
I will not
muscular,
deny.
I can understand if you prefer that she looks like the feminine beauty that she was designed to be originally. That's fine. But like modern Wonder Woman has changed to more of like a warrior type, and you know, it's a valid take on the character. But there are people who are just like, they're not ideal feminine beauty, they look like a man, and that's just ridiculous. Those people just shouldn't be listened to. But they're
it's
loud
weird
and
because,
obnoxious about it, and so companies like Warner Bros. Who don't understand business will go, well, everyone hates it. So, but I don't think that has anything to do with Wonder Woman the game being cancelled.
No, I don't think so.
Because they could have easily just like changed her look. Because all we'd seen was that one pre-rendered thing, and people would understand if the design
Well, it's
changed.
more so how much money they lost with the Sushi Squad game, but I think they also took it both. Nothing's in a vacuum, right? I think they saw how much money that lost and saw like, well, that was a game that had Wonder Woman in it. and it didn't really bring the hype. It didn't bring the sales. So maybe
I know.
Wonder Woman doesn't bring guarantee. It's still ridiculous to think, but keep in mind, these producers are stupid.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
the people who thought it would succeed in the first place.
Like,
So
I'm not
you got to
deb-
get
I'm
in
not
their
deb-
headspace. Like, they
I'm
really
not
don't know what
debating
they're
that
doing.
Stupid. It's just I don't think
Yeah.
that would be the reason for. I feel like it's more likely Wonder Woman has never
It's the
had
money.
her own video game, so it's not a safe bet that it would be a success. Whereas Batman has had so many, and there've been plenty that have been really big successes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have another one of those made. And but with Wonder
Which
Woman
is
it's-
a terrible-
Wonder Woman is untested IP in the realm of video games because somehow, in case you're not familiar, people out there, Wonder Woman has literally never had her own video game. The Flash has
Yeah.
had two. Green Lantern has had one. John Constantine got one.
There was a
with the
Flash
Keanu
video game?
Reeves
Was it like a
movie.
The
mobile game or
Flash had
something?
one? Yeah, I'm surprised
Yeah,
about
Flash.
that.
It was. I think it was on the Commodore, the first one, and then one was a spin-off
Okay.
of Justice League Heroes on the GBA. But Flash has had two
Yeah.
games of his own, and there was going to be another one that got cancelled around like 05, 06. I think a version of that got leaked online, so you could play that. But yeah,
Interesting.
Wonder Woman never got her own game, and the character like Green Lantern and Constantine got theirs to tie into movies. Catwoman was to tie into a movie as well. So
Oh, yeah.
for some reason, they're really underutilized. We look over at Marvel, it's like we've had X-Men, Spider-Man, Wolverine on his own. We've had Ghost Rider, we've had Hulk, we've had Iron Man, Thor, Captain America. Black Panther was going to get one, but that got cancelled, but we're still getting the Black Panther and Captain America game. We've had Avengers, we've had Marvel at large. There's been a couple of Guardians of the Galaxy games. Like, there's a wide selection of characters who get their own games from Marvel. Not so much nowadays, but they have had it. Whereas the Trinity, the big three heroes, one of them never, ever had her own game. The closest we got was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's the closest we get
Hell
to a
yeah.
standalone Wonder Woman
Ha
game.
ha ha. I see why.
And like, what a game by the Shadow of Mordor team. For all the faults that Shadow of Mordor and War have, they could have really delivered on a great Wonder Woman game that was going to have the Nemesis system in it. But they shut the studio down. The Nemesis system is still patented to Warner Bros. Maybe Batman will have it, but they're not going to do anything with it otherwise, and no one else can use it because Warner Bros is a shit company full of shit people that needs to be shut down, to be honest. And all of its IP sold off.
I would rather
yeah,
just
and, like,
replace the
also
top
another
people to
thing that-
make dumb decisions because the grunts are working really hard. But yeah, go ahead, Sonic.
Yeah, I was gonna say another thing is also just like, again, this is all things that people have said all the time already. But it's like I can imagine like we're gonna make a Wonder Woman standalone game. Cool, great. Here's $1 kajillion. Ah, fuck, that's too much money. Too much. It's like, yeah, what did you expect? It's like you invest so much you're putting so much damn money into this thing, and when you feel like it's like when you see something like Sushi Squad failing and stuff, then you're like, maybe pick it up, maybe not. It's like this is kind of the thing that you should really have foresight in a way. But yeah, like games are spending way too much money being made, and I think that's also one issue.
It's really sad to think that. So they're getting Rocksteady to make another Batman game, which, in theory, good idea. However, it's one of those things where over time a studio loses people, and the creative heads who made and all the people who worked on those older games have moved on. A bunch of the important decision makers at Rocksteady left during Suicide Squad. Maybe they can get some of them back with promise of we're going to give you more freedom again, like we did for the older Batman games, but probably not because it's Warner Bros. And they're just full of the biggest dipshits on the planet.
What?
And so that game is probably going to be not as good as the other Arkham games, maybe not even all that good at all. And if this game doesn't sell really well, you can tell Warner Bros is going to shut them down, and then that's it. Like no more Arkham games, or maybe they'll farm it out to a B studio. Like maybe WB Montreal will get another shot at it. But I can see him just being like, okay, this game didn't do well, get rid of all these people. We need to cut corners somewhere.
What was the game where you don't play as Batman, but you play as like Nightwing, Robin,
Gotham
and all the
Knights.
four characters?
That was WB
Yeah,
Montreal
like what-
who did Arkham Origins.
Gotcha. Not Rocksteady. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I see the issue. I was
Which,
thinking
to be
like,
fair,
what if
I
it'd be
actually
like
liked
that?
Arkham Origins, but I did not play
really
the
good.
Arkham Knights. I hear it's not as bad as people say, but it is like a huge. Technical wise, it's a huge step down because like the city is like unpopulated. It's not very pretty. Yeah.
Dog, you got to be very careful. I think you said Arkham Knights, not Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
very
Arkham
different
Knight,
game.
in my opinion, is also not that good, but that's just a story perspective.
Like,
Gameplay-wise, it was
like-
fun, but story-wise, it was kind of dog shit. But yeah,
Yeah, and then but yeah, Gotham Knights was like the big technical step down because people were like, why does this look like a decade old while the game that came is a decade old, looks like it was made today.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a technical marvel, Arkham Knight. Like, you look at that game, the way Batman is in the rain on everything, it looks, holy shit, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And then you go
really cool.
then you look at this one, it's like, this one looks worse than Arkham Asylum, unfortunately.
And to be fair, I think Arkham Asylum is cool in its own way because it has that comic aesthetic to it. And the later games all were trying to be kind of more like a movie. In other words, like your HUD, or when you pause the game, it looked like a live action version of Batman's like computer or something. Whereas the first game was actually a comic. You paused, the little bats flew across the screen, and it was like a comic panel. I missed that. I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up one thing real quick because we got off this topic and we forgot to show something that I wanted to show you guys, unless you looked at it in your free time, because we talked about it in text form on the Discord, but I don't know if you looked at it or not. But so
Okay.
a very popular leaker for Multiversus.
Wait, that means the Multiversus conversation, if we're going to go into that.
No, it's about Injustice 3.
We'll
Okay,
talk about
okay.
that then move into Multiversus.
Oh,
Well-
now I know what you're talking about. I know this. Okay.
So do you want Sonic to go or me?
You.
Dad. Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, so this leaker is never wrong, but I was wrong thinking they're an insider. They're actually a data miner, I think. But still, they posted this, and they haven't been wrong before. I'll read it to you guys. So it's a 2-part tweet. It says, Multiversus shutting down is an injustice. Then doing it all again is another injustice. Leaving me without any leaks is yet again another injustice. Then she replies to herself and says 3. So
Yes.
people are like, Could just be trolling,
Interesting.
could just be teasing, but apparently this person's never been wrong. So we shall
About
see
the
what this
Multiversus
means.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting hint too. Of like, yeah, like, oh, I personally will say that, like, no matter how long we take this conversation, no matter how long we debate,
Yeah.
we're not gonna find out until next year, at least, or even heck 2 years from now. I feel like this is not happening like this year, at least.
Honestly, I
feel
wouldn't be
like.
surprised if we find out at like the Game Awards or something this year.
At least a logo or something.
Yeah, I'd
be
like like
nice.
a pre-rendered thing revealing like one or two of the characters, and like maybe they might want to announce who the Batman voice actor would be. If it is Injustice, of course, which I still don't think it is. But I think whatever it is, whatever they are working on is probably going to be announced at the Game Awards, because I think they've done it before, and that's the kind of place they would want to get in for the prestige. Although it is expensive, so maybe Warner Bros. Doesn't have the money for it. Cause
They're not that poor.
It's probably like $500,000 or something to get a trailer there or something like that. Like,
I
it's
did hear about
stupid
that recently.
Yeah, so it's possible Warner Bros. Might be like, oh, we don't have that kind of cash. We can't do a fandom again. Oh no! Oh no! And it's like, just put the trailer on YouTube, you fuckers. It's easy.
Snake, when you said that, like, I remember you retweeted that or something, like, what, like a trailer at the Game Awards is like how many million again? What, do you remember?
It's like $500,000 or something like that.
Okay, $500,000 just to show your trailer at the Game Awards. I remember just thinking, like, after you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh. The next time I watch a Game Awards and I just watch a really shit trailer, I'll be like, oh my gosh, $500,000 right there. Another $500,000. $500,000 again.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in my mind every time I look at a trailer at the Game Awards now.
So is it any wonder the fucking these budgets are just ballooning to unsustainable levels when it's like that's how much it costs to market a fucking game these days? Like, well, it's just one trailer to get it in like a.
Yeah.
Where
Well, I'm
all
starting
these
to wonder
eyes
if a
can
lot of
see
these
it.
games, you guys, are doing what my country was doing for a bit until they got exposed, where a lot of that money's just going to their own pockets, but it's being worded as something else. I wonder if these game companies were doing that. Like, that trailer cost $1 million, but in reality it cost like $300,000, but $700K went to the CEO or something.
Yes.
But
Definitely. There are too many
But-
stories of, like, just if you look into it and it's like, yep, the money is just going to the higher ups for the vacations. Look up that recent Bungie situation. It's literally that.
the art stealers themselves, yes, the art thieves themselves.
If you look it up all the way, it is
Yeah.
like it's a
Dog,
pretty damn like crazy story.
You can save a lot of money to go in your pocket if you just steal from other people.
It's true. I think it's funny how someone said, I'd be less offended if Bungie was caught using AI art. Because here they're like just literally stealing. But yeah, I wanted to say another thing. What was it? Dang it. Oh, and I used to think that, well, they're not going to reveal Injustice 3 at the Game Fest because it's going to be like a big thing because NetherRealm always does like a big reveal. But then someone reminded me, no, for in Mortal Kombat 1, it was a
MK11.
clock. Well, for Mortal Kombat 1, it was a clock. And I'm like,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh, that's
true.
right.
They
I
just showed
forgot
a
about
clock,
that.
and
That's
it.
so funny.
So they could do a
That's so
simple thing like
funny.
that for Injustice, where all it is like maybe the NetherRealm logo, and everyone's like, oh, it's like on a wall, like graffitied, and a batarang just goes and sticks into it or something, and that's it. And people go, oh shit, oh yeah. Oh.
On our screens, we can't hear your screaming. It's really funny.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like. Oh yeah, like that.
Doing the Rambo scream.
Can I? Okay, before we close this conversation, I kind of want to bring it back to something I said, but we went a little bit off topic. I said the whole thing about like maybe they're making Injustice because they're like mitigating the hate that Mortal Kombat's getting. Partially, I actually don't really agree with that statement because I personally just don't think us, the core customers, as we would say, our complaints are a big deal for their sales. Like, if it's like, oh, Mortal Kombat 1 sucks, story sucks, cameo sucks, everything's incomplete, we fucking hate this shit, dude. And it's like, they'll just be like, who cares? I feel like, for them at least. Because
that's
like,
what I think
Sales
is true too. But then I was speaking with some
Yes.
people, and I don't know how much he actually knows about this, but shout out to him, I suppose, on the podcast with Mike Hollow and Tom Brady. He said
Okay.
that's why MK11 ended, because I was like, well, if MK1 is... I'm like, MK1 isn't ending because it was selling bad. It actually sold fine for being only on next-gen consoles. And if you look at MK11, it had roughly the same support, like 2 years, and then done, despite being the best-selling Mortal Kombat game, like, ever. And they still ended it sooner than they were expecting because there's data in the files that suggests they're going to do another combat pack. Because, like, the actual data is there. And
okay.
I think Tom Brady said something akin to... Well, they saw like the reception that MK was getting towards the end there and said, all right, diminishing returns combined with the fact that people are kind of souring towards the game right now, let's just move on to the next game. And it could have been the same thing with MK1, he said, where like even though it was doing well and it was like kind of picking up pace there at the end, they were still like, all right, let's end on a decent note. Let's end it here because diminishing returns will make more money on a new game. And also, it's not universally loved, so we're not going to keep it going. Which is a shame, because you saw earlier how we spoke about... NetherRealm even said on their post, like, we know it upsets some people that we're done supporting the game, we're sorry about that, but we're moving on. That's the opposite of what Namco Bandai did. They were going to end after Season 2 of Tekken 7. But then it got so much support that they were like, oh, okay, let's keep it going then. And I think the fans were trying to do that with MK1 by showing how much we wanted it to keep going. And they were like, no, we're still going to not do it. And I'm like, damn it. That's the difference between Japanese developers and American developers right there.
Street
I
Fighter
think
5
I'll
was the
show-
same, right? Street Fighter 5
What's
got
that?
an extra season. It was more than it was supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Partly because Ono left and then the other guys came in, so it may have been a test bed for them or something. But that was supposed to end with Season 3, I think it was, but they got that extra one at the end.
So it would have been cool for us to get that too, but they're like, nah.
Yeah,
Chaos
I think Chaos Reigns is definitely more of the focus then, because I feel like when Mortal Kombat 1 was like first came out, it sold incredibly well, despite having all those bugs in the first patch and stuff. But when Chaos Reigns came out, I just keep hearing things that's like, oh, this is financially not successful, oh, this is not like doing really well and whatnot. So maybe that would have affected it. But overall, I still don't think like the hate would affect the at least I wouldn't expect it to affect like the next game, whatever they plan, like what's coming out right now, because like whatever they're making, they've already been making it 3 years ago. They're not gonna be like, all right, here comes Mortal Kombat 13, and it's like then they see when Chaos Reigns came out, which was less than a year ago, they'll be like, oh, people do not like this. All right, scrap Mortal Kombat 13, Injustice now. Like, I don't think that's going to matter. I think what's going to matter is that first week the game came out, how much did we make? We made back our money. Okay, keep on making whatever we're making next. So that's how I would feel about that. I think us, the major complaints, while we do play a part, we do not matter as much as the people who just bought the game, played it for less than a week, played the story mode, played some online matches, and then never played the game ever again. That the tourist, basically, as people would call it, the fighting game tourist crowd, that is the major amount of people that why we get these games made. It's because of those 1 week players. That's it. Like, I think that is the main
that's a
core
bit
audience.
mean calling that tourist. That's more just like the normies. A tourist is someone who's like brand new.
Okay, I know
but
the word tourist is used
He means in
notoriously,
terms
but
of,
I'm
like,
literally
how long
using
you're
it.
here.
Yeah, I'm literally using it because they're here for like a week or maybe a month, you know. But it's like compared to like people who are still playing it
I'll call
to
them
this
the
day.
honeymooners. Yeah, the ones who show up for the fun times and then are out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like Donkey made like a video of like just him playing the game and playing some online games, and he never played the game ever again. See, like that worked out for him and stuff like that.
I will say that I've tried to get inside the headspace of how WB Games, now WB Discovery, I guess, but the game section, how they do things is impossible to predict. Because the way they handled MK1
True.
is like the opposite of how they handled Sushi Squad. That game was dead on arrival, had tons of negative reception, was not getting played almost after the first month everyone dropped it. And they kept giving that game DLC. They kept making DLC. They finished the whole game. They may have rushed it and maybe cut some corners on the cutscene and made it art instead, but that game still finished. Every DLC character, all the extra nuggets and costumes and stuff, and that game was a money hole. That was like a pit of money being lit on fire, and they finished it. Meanwhile, MK1 made good money and just done. Had another thing planned, ready to go, done.
Well, I think that could be a few things because MK is already like a long-established brand. Suicide Squad, while it's been around, has not really been like a mainstream brand until the 2016 movie came out. So I think they're trying to build up the brand and hoping to salvage it. Whereas with MK, it's like cut our losses, people will come back for the next one. Suicide Squad, it's still like an adolescent brand basically. We don't want to kill that so soon. But also from the way that, as we've expressed before, clearly M1K was lower priority than Suicide Squad. It got pushed out the door so they could have the second big release for 2023. So Sushi Squad could get more time in the oven. Clearly that game was a higher priority. I'm willing to bet they put way more money into that game than they did into MK, and that's why they were like, we need to salvage this. We need to save this, which is, again, it is really funny because MK lasted way longer just carrying on. Even though there were so many issues on launch, people kept playing it, kept getting support from the players, whereas this other game they put way more money into just flat out did not. It just failed spectacularly. And then, but the thing is, I don't even know if we can even say that anything about them learning lessons, because remember, right after the game launched, there was the earnings call, and I think it was Zaslav who said, we're going to put more focus on this type of game. We're going to try and turn Hogwarts Legacy, our biggest success in years, this single-player standalone game, we're going to turn that into live service. We can monetize that more, instead of taking the obvious lesson that live services are a dying art. Only a few of them are going to actually find success, because it's like the MMO thing where all these MMOs are coming out, and it's like, well, I already play WoW. I already play like one of 2 or 3 that people got in on early and were successful.
Exactly.
Very few other things can even come close to that. You need a unique gimmick. Like the Old Republic had the whole BioWare writing team, and it's like a single player game but in multiplayer. Like you need something like that. Most MMOs died out. Same with the FPS boom, like the COD style ones after COD 4. People play COD. Like they have their favorite one of these. They play that one. They're not going to come over to fucking Homefront. They're going to keep playing COD, you know. And that's the thing that's going on here. Is if you have a live service, like you're gonna like a Fortnite or a Destiny, that's what you play. That's what you're going to stick with. You just don't have time for like 2 or 3 of these. And the people in charge just don't understand that because they don't play games. They're just money people. And so, of course, people didn't have time to play this Suicide Squad game, especially when you have to grind to get the new character. And then you have fuck all to do with that character until the next one comes out. So you use Joker to grind for Mrs. Freeze. You use Mrs. Freeze to grind for Deadshot's daughter, whatever her name was. And that's how it works. The entire system was broken. It was a bad game in a genre that really only 2 or 3 of these can be successful, and this ain't it. But they didn't take that lesson and go, okay, that's why it failed. They just decided, okay, we'll just get rid of that. It's a failure, it's fine. Okay, what was a success? That one. Monetize that one. Monetize Hogwarts Legacy. Don't look at what made that one a success versus all these multiple failures. Avengers flopped. An Avengers game which came out right at the peak of the MCU when Marvel was at its most culturally relevant. That failed. This failed. IP is not enough. And it's clear that it's not enough to any consumer, but the people with the money think IP is still enough. And then they're like, okay, Harry Potter, that's going to be a big tentpole thing. We're going to monetize that.
Snake.
That's not why it was successful. It was because it wasn't the thing you're trying to do. You should be taking these things and making them like that, not taking the successful thing and making it like the failures. How are you this inept, David? How are you this goddamn stupid, you dumb piece of shit?
Get his ass.
Snake.
Yeah, I mean, because Hogwarts Legacy was great because it lets you do all the things you want to do as a Harry Potter fan. You know, it gave them exactly what they wanted. It's pure fan service, right? And yet, if you ask for the classic costumes back in Mortal Kombat, you're a gooner.
Snake.
Yes.
Your amazing rant, it's almost perfect.
Except the cost. I am aware it loses points for being dressed like a fucking anime boy. I'm aware.
No, not that aspect. That makes it more epic in my opinion. But what I was gonna say
you're
was
a video game character, but yeah, sure. Go
your
on.
whole entire rant just felt like it was missing the core. What's the word to use here? Example. Yes, it's as if like you're saying, oh wow, Sushi Squad's like not successful thing. We're just like actually not gonna care about that and still use that. And we have the perfect example that already failed just recently, called fucking Multiversus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiversus is the most egregious microtransaction shit that I have seen. Okay, maybe it's not the worst, but at least I've played that, and I'm just like,
it had microtransactions in the beta, so I would say it is. Yes, I would say it is.
It was also very confusing too, because sometimes I would get stuff for free and I never played the game. Like I just had currency sitting there and I was able to get the Powerpuff Girls for free. Meanwhile, my friend who plays the game all the time was like, "What?" She's like, "I don't have the points to get the Powerpuff Girls." And I'm like, "I wonder if I just got free points because WB or something. I don't know. Maybe the version of the game they gave me." Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's a topic we have on this that's on the list of topics we want to talk about here because, and I want to bring up a comment we got recently in our videos because we were talking about, oh wow, years of content that Mortal Kombat promised and it didn't even last 2 years. And someone wrote, yeah, Multiversus years of content didn't even last a year.
To be fair, that game was so odd. Like, the fact they took a huge break in between was the weirdest thing and just killed all the momentum. That game actually had momentum. I put it on my channel, the Mortal Kombat channel, and it was still approaching 100K. I was like, people are excited about this. Yeah.
Successful game when it was in the beta. Like, the most amount of players playing a fighting game. Like, it was breaking records. People were like, holy shit, this is going to be the next biggest thing. And it's...
Didn't the beta last longer than the official release?
Oh, I have no idea about this one.
Possible.
That'd be really funny if that's the
I think
case.
the gap in between may have been longer than the official release lasted. Or at least before they announced that it was closing down. Maybe the actual lifespan might have been longer, but I'm pretty sure that the beta lasted longer and the time in between, because that was a long time in between. I think that might have been longer too. Like, this game was fucking dead on arrival.
To be fair, there are many stories talking about the life of Multiversus. There's a lot of great videos out there that talk about how the beta was really egregious with this microtransaction. People were wondering, okay, what are the things that I'm going to buy? How are they going to be handled a year from now? And all this jazz. And then you go to the free version and it's like, personally, I also have to say, holy shit, the game is slow when they first came out. I was like, it's not about like fighting your opponent and like on reaction. It's about, I gotta predict what he's gonna press 2 seconds from now, because I can literally dodge what he's doing right now. Everything. Yeah. that's how slow the game felt.
The dodge was too good, I think, too, because I feel like in Smash the dodge has more penalties when you spam it. Like, it's got maybe longer recovery or something. It felt like you could legit mash the evade in Multiversus with almost like no consequences, because I don't think you even had, except for some characters, you didn't even have a throw that could punish it. Whereas I think in Smash, throw always wins against that kind of stuff. So you had to like
blocking doesn't exist in Multiversus. That's why throw doesn't counter like dodging.
But doesn't throw also beat dodging in Smash? Or am I wrong about that? I thought throw.
You
also
can dodge throws. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. You just control the recovery frames, is what it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's why dodging is more like risky, because you can block. You can basically just be invincible or invulnerable in that time, but it's so much shorter compared to just blocking and stuff.
Multiversus was a fun game though. It's a shame because I feel like a lot of these games made by these people are fun to play. It's just everyone else dropping the ball. Like, they look fun, they play fun. Even in the new Mortal Kombat, the sound design was finally good again. and then it's just everything else was not as good.
Snake, what were you gonna say?
From what I've heard, Multiversus is actually speeding up again, or like it was like just before the game died. Like they brought the speed back up to what it was in the beta, and it's like this should have been like a week in from the official launch,
Day one,
or a month. You like bring it back to that speed instead of, because that's the thing. Of what I remember people saying that it was way slower when they brought it back, but then they changed it back to the beta state after the game had been officially announced as being dead and on the way out. Like, what? I mean, that feels like a case of like the devs understanding what people wanted and being like, okay, we wanted to change it, but the higher ups say no, you can't do that. But then it's like, well, then the devs come back and go, well, now the game's on its way out, can we do that just so people can have a bit more fun with the game? Like, yeah, whatever, who cares? Just do whatever, we don't care. It's not making money. But that's
from what I've heard. This was a very, very small, like almost independent like team when they made this game initially. But because when it came out at first, it blew up way too big, that it almost felt like they couldn't like constantly like throw content out for the demand of like a live service game back in the beta. And so that's why it was very unorganized, like, oh shit, this is supposed to be just like a really regular beta for people to play, but this is way too simple. All of a sudden WB is like funding this game, throwing so much cash into this game. So they had to like take a year off to like let it cook basically. And then when the game officially launches, it's like a completely feels like a different studio's made it, because they got to shove all this microtransaction things into the game because it's a free to play game and all that kind of stuff. All that is happening because of how successful it initially was basically. But yeah, I feel pretty bad for the team because I just heard it's like they were not up for the job of like a multi-million-dollar budgeted game all of a sudden. Like they weren't signing up for this basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I gotta ask you guys about this because I'm not sure about this, because currently right now the game is dead. You cannot play the game. It's delisted on Steam right now.
Yeah.
But did they ever say they're gonna make this like an offline game or something? Like, or they're gonna like just do that, or is this just lost media? Are we just never getting this game back ever again? Like I have no idea about this situation.
Well, no, they said when they canceled it that it was going to stop being available for online play. You can still play it locally, and if you already have it, you have it. But it's not even going to have servers. Like they've completely dropped support for Multiversus. It's done.
That's
like buried and dead. Yeah.
That's so weird because like even a game like I don't know, Nickelodeon's All Star or Rivals 1. These are like they have the sequels out. You can still physically buy them and play with your friends online too and stuff like that. It's so weird they're not at least doing an offline version, or at least just like a complete version. We're never gonna update this game, like a normal video game, but you can still play it. It's like it's a Smash clone. You literally still have the characters you can fight. You can play online. You have the stages. Just do that. Why just like kill the game and let nobody play it? Like they have to make an offline version of the game, right?
It's really sad because I just realised that the three final things to feature Kevin Conroy as Batman are this, Sushi Squad, and that Crisis on Infinite Earths movie. Only one of these has not like failed utterly and basically on the way to being delisted. Or one of them even is delisted. They are taking away Kevin Conroy's final performances as his most iconic character. That's really sad.
His final line in that movie at least was a pretty good send off, at least.
And
but
you
yeah,
asked
like
earlier, like the Batman
How is
announcer.
Devil May
I think the best
Cry?
way-
How is Devil May Cry, the Netflix anime, doing better by Kevin Conroy than these things where he's playing Batman? Fuck you, WB. Fuck you.
On the topic of Kevin Conroy too, I think if they do Injustice 3, and they probably already thought about this, instead of recasting someone else to play Batman, it might work better to just have a different Batman, like Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond. Or
Ooh.
Yeah, or possibly Batman Who Laughs, like just a different like Batman entirely.
That's one of the interesting things, because the He-Man crossover comic, which is the sequel to the Bad Ending, that does actually have Damian operating as Batman for a while, and I think another period where Red Hood was an evil Batman in the Injustice 2 comic as well, so there is precedent for them doing that. But the problem is, if you do retire Bruce Wayne, you then need to explain why you're retiring him. And I don't think people respond very well to killing off a character because the actor died, because then it just feels like disrespectful to the character and the actor almost to be like, he's dead because the actor's dead. It reminds people that, oh yeah, Kevin Conroy has died. You know, some people think it's better that way, but a lot of people were not happy with Black Panther. They were like, it should have just been recast instead of just killing the character off. You know, I mean, it's also a little different because like Black Panther was like he had just come back from the dead. He was dead for 5 years and he came back and then died of an unrelated medical issue. Like, so it was really lame. But there's still something to that where people just don't like it when a character is just killed off. I think it would be better for Injustice to just do a new universe, like just do, or like not even Injustice, just do here's a new DC fighter and go in a different direction with a different actor.
With how much okay, if we look at NRS and we look at Mortal Kombat 1, with how much they've pissed off fans with Kuai Liang Scorpion and like and stuff like that, and then you look at some of the more recent Batman video games, he's not playable in Gotham Knights and he's killed off because, you know, spoilers, like in that game, and then in Sushi Squad he's killed off in that game too. Like, I feel like I don't know, I don't think they can afford doing it again. You know what I mean? I just feel like they're just gonna be okay, people like Batman, go. You guys keep bringing it up. It's like the 4 things that they're focusing on. Batman's on there. I don't see not adding classic Batman, you know?
That's a good question. Outside of Multiversus and that like minor games that are just like budget titles, was the last time Batman was playable in a game Injustice 2?
Batman playable? VR?
Yeah.
You don't count the VR game?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, there
right?
is that.
I don't think it's in that long. There's got to be other
Injustice.
Batman games.
Injustice 2 was definitely not after the later Arkham games.
No, Arkham Knight was 2015. Injustice 2 was 2017.
Is that true? That's so funny. My brain does not remember it that way. Oh.
That was one of the reasons why Suicide Squad hurt so much, because it was like just shy of a decade after the last Batman game that this came out. This was what they were working on for a decade. You know, they weren't, because they were making that Damian Wayne Batman game, which they'll probably go back to now. Like, I'm sure that's what they're going to do for the Arkhamverse now. Is they'll do that, and they might do some prequel stuff with Roger Craig Smith as Batman, like the VR game. But they're probably just going to go, here's the Damian Wayne game, and that'll be the next Batman. But that's another reason why I guess if they did make another Injustice, they should have Bruce in there, because if he's not in his own series, he needs to be somewhere. So yeah, I personally think it would be better to just like reboot and do something new, but they probably will want to do the most safe thing they can, which probably means we're looking at another Batman versus Superman game with an evil. Like the most we can probably expect is they might try and redeem Wonder Woman, but even that's a stretch.
Yeah. To be fair though, it's since 2017 since they've had a Batman v actually, when was Batman v Superman? I just realized.
2016. That was like
it's been a while. You know, they might want to cash in on that again recently. By the way, Snake, you're most likely right, but I don't like. There's this game that I see here. It's called like Justice League Comic Chaos. It's really cutesy looking, like
that's what I mean. It's like that's like a budget title.
Yeah,
and then also most people don't even know it exists. I'm willing to bet at least one of you two didn't know it existed before now. I only knew because
I didn't even know it existed.
I only knew because there's a YouTuber I follow, Diego Reviews, who did a video about it. If not for that, I would have never heard of it.
Are we talking about
so under the radar? It's obscure.
Are we talking about the He-Man comic or?
No, it's this game where you play like chibi Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Snake is saying, like, when was the last time we actually got to play Batman in a video game? And he says, is it just Injustice 2? And I'm like, well, we got the VR, we got this chibi game, and I kind of looked up here, Lego Batman, if you want to count that. But yeah, like, not really. Like, Lego DC Supervillains is 2018, and the Lego Movie 2, which Batman was playable, was 2019.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. And then I see Fortnite listed here, which actually, technically, he did get a samurai skin recently.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest, we are the Combat Kings channel, so our focus is on Mortal Kombat related shenanigans. But once in a while, we'll check out some other WB like properties and whatnot. So we do talk about Multiversus. Like, I think when the game came out, we talked about it too. But like, we are not the experts when it comes to like the details. There are so many people who have made like 20-30 minutes videos of like the life and death of Multiversus, and if you watch those videos, it is like 10 times worse than anything NRS has done. Like it is bad, like how they've done it, and like the egregious microtransaction and just like and all that jazz. and like even I still find it really funny how like the moment Multiversus dies, it's just like 3-4 different games are like announcing their DC and like all these like WB property collabs and stuff like that. Like 4 different like Fortnite like skins are coming out like instantly.
That was the funny one, like because what was it? Like DC stuff hadn't come back to the item shop, and there weren't any new ones for like 4 years or something. And then suddenly, when their games are being shut down, they're like, get back in the item store, because like that's always been like more of a Marvel thing. Fortnite, they got so much Marvel stuff. Then it's like, then it's like, well, here's Catwoman for the first time in like 5 years.
Couple years.
Then here's new Batman Ninja costumes to promote the new animated movie. Ooh. And then like they start bringing a bunch of the characters back. I think Starfire came back. Wonder Woman, I managed to get her. Hell yeah, brother. I'm not sure if Superman's been back. Flash came back. I've got Flash.
Superman sucks because that's a Battle Pass exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, yeah, they're gonna make a new one for sure for the movie. And then it's not only DC. It's like then all of a sudden it's like freaking Mortal Kombat. Like holy crap, Sub-Zero, Scorpio, whoa! And then it's like Adventure Time, Finn, Jake. Like they're all coming in. It's like
it's quite telling.
Really open the floodgate.
It's quite telling that Warner Bros is like they're putting all their properties into these other ones because theirs are all failing. So I noticed there's no Harry Potter stuff. That would do
Harry
very
Potter
well.
and
I'm willing to bet
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet. I would put money down, honestly, that Harry Potter. They're waiting to see what with the next game. If they do make it some weird ongoing experience, and if that fails, then Harry Potter will stuff will make it in. or maybe they're just waiting for the new show to come out because they announced some of the casting. So like, when the show starts up, we'll put like Harry and Dumbledore, Hagrid. They do well, I think. Like, let's get some of these guys in there. I mean, they'll never do as well as like they would if it was the original actors. Like, if they put in a Severus Snape and he looks like the new actor, it's not going to do as well as if it was Alan Rickman. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But, you know, I'm sure Harry Potter stuff would do well. Lord of the Rings would... Because I think Warner Bros. Has, like, full control over Harry Potter for games. I don't think J.K. Rowling actually has anything to do with it. So I'm not sure if she even could veto it if she wanted to. Like, I don't want like Draco Malfoy going in with an AR-15. It's like, I don't think she would have a choice. I think if Warner Bros. Wanted it, it could happen. And like you know, Epic would be like, yeah, of course, this is one of the biggest multimedia franchises in the world. It's about to get a big resurgence with this new show as long as it doesn't bomb. Like there's a lot of controversy surrounding it because of J.K. Rowling, but you can kind of skirt around that by not having her involved as much. You know, so. That's just how this stuff goes. Lord of the Rings, I think the Tolkien estate does have some control over that, though.
Well, I mean, like, you know, if Gandalf, gets to use an AK-40 in Lord of the Rings, in Fortnite, I think everybody would like that. Like, shit, why not? Gandalf, I'm so surprised Gandalf wasn't even in Multiversus when, like, one of the first pictures was, like, he was there. It's like, there's Gandalf right there.
Well,
like,
that's the thing is, they did a comic for Multiverses that gives it a bit of a plot. The villain is the Wicked Witch of the West. There are voice files of her in the game, but she never made it in. Like, if she'd been presented as the main villain, why wasn't she there on launch? It's so weird, but no, we have to put in Nubia. Now, nothing against Nubia, but do you two know who Nubia is?
Not until they put her in Multiverses.
I don't think I do. No.
I know some people are okay with her.
She's been around since like the 60s, I think. It's an Amazon it's from Wonder
OG.
Woman who is black. She's like the black Wonder Woman's black Amazon sister, as they put it sometimes. And like that's the idea. And like nothing against her as a character, but why the fuck is she here before all these other way more important characters and franchises? Like why?
That's almost how I feel about like half the roster too, actually.
Yeah.
Like look.
What's that Adventure Time one? Like a guard or something who's like a joke character.
Oh yeah, Banana Guard. That's right. That's
like
the Piranha Plant.
Then they put in a very popular Adventure Time character right after that, and it's like, then why wasn't this like something else? Because the thing about this is Warner Bros. Owns these characters. Overall, like it's easy for them to implement most of these characters. I think Jason was a fucking out there one because I don't think Warner Bros. Has actually ownership of him because he's been going through so many rights issues over the last few years. But like he made it in, And then they're wasting time on characters like Nubia, who could have just been a skin for Wonder Woman, to be honest. And then they could have put in an actual.
Oh yeah, that character. Yeah, fuck Nubia.
Yeah,
that was a terrible choice.
Damn.
Then they could have put another character. Like, where's Green Lantern in this? I don't think the Flash was in it either.
Well, she's an Echo fighter,
no.
Sonic. I don't mind the character, but she's an Echo fighter.
You said fuck Nubia. But yeah, like I said, it's like there's just so many characters, Cartoon Network characters you could have picked. Everyone's like Ben 10. Oh, regular show. Oh, like we talk about Lords of the Rings, Harry Potter. It's like there's so many IPs, and it's like
no, it is a comparison. Like Nubia is like, so there's the character Jade from Green Lantern, who's the daughter of Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern. She's cool. Might be nice to see her in a game, but like she is like very much an Echo Fighter type character, and she's quite obscure. You don't put her in before you put in like Sinestro, you know?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of them in this game. It's like it's a bit like okay choices and stuff like that, but
yeah.
Anyways, it's again it's one of those situations.
And then you have an OC who is technically lost media now.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Ryan Dog, holy shit! Talk about
He just said Ryan Dog. Kill him.
That's what he's.
Mods, crush his skull.
Isn't that what he's called?
Shoot that guy.
No, it's Rain Dog, like reindeer.
My bad. Ryan Dog. That's how much of a forgettable character that dog is. My bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's
an implant. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe
people say Jeff is an implant.
Maybe if they put a character called Ryan Dog in the game, it might have been a success. They should have thought about that before they did all this bullshit.
True. Based.
Fucking hell.
Speaks the truth.
Yeah, I think Multiversus is just looking at it is kind of sad, but also looking at it is also just kind of like what'd you expect? Like just looking at it from afar, it's like what did you expect? Like I didn't even need to predict. I don't even need like a freaking pondering orb for me to realize this is where it was going. It's like yeah. But yeah, those are like the main topics we wanted to talk about. We thought it would take about less than 30 minutes. We are 2 hours into this podcast now.
We do like to ramble a little bit. We do like to ramble.
Yeah, I think it was still fun. I think it adds a lot of conversations. But yeah, so this episode was supposed to be more about talking about just what we've been doing recently, what like cool new things we've been doing.
Stop wasting time. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just talk about what we've been doing, like
talk
video
about your
wise.
videos. Talk about your videos, Sonic. Go on. Do it.
How are we doing?
Ironically, Snake, by cutting him off, you're making it take longer to get there.
Do it.
You just okay.
Right now.
So recently, my Sindo video just went up, and I must say, this was because I was watching it in the live chat with my fans in the Discord server,
there. Which
you can do that. Yes, Snake, I saw you in the premiere. It was very awesome. We were in the chat, and this is like a lot of I gotta say, this is probably the most reactions I've heard when I was in the chat, like in the audience and stuff like that, because of like whenever I had like the 3D sections. I think a lot of my chatters were like got very like reacting whenever Xiao's cheeks were shown on the screen.
Yeah.
He used that shot like 3 times. His ass cheeks had a lot of screen time in that video.
Listen.
By the way, it's going to be in my video too today, by the way, Sonic. I sniped it. And I couldn't remember which video you put it in, so I went to Rule 34 and found it that way. Because it's faster.
What the fuck?
Sonic, no one's complaining, just to be clear, Sonic. Like, no one's complaining that his ass cheeks had a lot of play. But there are characters in that game who had less screen time than his ass cheeks in your video.
So, just so you know, by the way, I have a very justifiable reasoning, at least to myself. So, after Sindel defeats Xiao, he disintegrates. You do not see like a defeated Xiao. You do not see like him being carried off. Like, take him away, guards. No. He just disappears. So do all the enemies, you know, because it's like we got to bring back Geras, Katana, Melina, Tanya, and like, oh my gosh, it's the reunion. But it's like, so when I need a Xiao is defeated footage, doesn't exist in that chapter. So I'm like, well, I got to make my own then. So here's the Family Guy death pose.
It's funny to picture, like, Sindel knocks General Xiao out, and then while she's off fighting whoever's next or whatever, dealing with stuff, or having the big reunion, oh, my daughters, you're safe. While that's happening, you've got someone, like, maybe Collector just down there, like, taking his clothes, putting them in the backpack, like... then scuttles away before anyone can see. Or maybe put Xiao in the backpack as well, like that one victory pose, and he just walks off. You know?
Yeah.
That's what Collector was. Collector was on screen the whole time, he just didn't see.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I mentioned that like in the chapter 4 when Melina goes like berserk. Fresh meat. Yeah, let's fight Kenshi. I was like, you know, if I were like this like hungry like cannibal like monster character, I'd probably want to eat the meat that's closest to me, and luckily, and it would probably be like Tanya and Rain's body in the ground, like right next to me. I'd probably go for those first. Luckily, they vanished.
True.
Like instantly.
They're protected by
After
story
they're
mode
defeated.
cinematography. Their assets are not loaded in that shot, so they are defended and protected. It's
They're
funny to
just
think
gone.
about how what happened to General Shao in MK1 is what happens to Baraka in MK9. He's the most common jobber early on in the game, and then I think after Jade defeats him, he just disappears.
Yeah.
It's like she beat his ass so hard, he's just gone for the rest of story mode. That or he took that like being called the dog very personally.
No,
That's right.
He's in the last part of the MK2 section. He's the one saying Baraka is the Emperor's daughter. Sorry, Melina's the Emperor's daughter, not Baraka. Baraka's not the Emperor's daughter. What am I talking about? He's saying Melina's the Emperor's daughter. She should take over. After that scene, he disappears.
He's just not in the
kinda
MK3
funny.
section
It's
at
like-
all.
It's like as if Shang Tsung's like, and I took that personally, and then just disintegrates Baraka for daring to oppose his bid for Emperor.
It'd be
Yeah.
super cute if like Sonic took his animation skills from today and took that scene, and after Baraka says that and speaks up for Melina, it just cuts to like the back view of them and like do a little tiny lo-fi like because Tarkatan stick together.
or alternatively,
They do.
The voice says, after this line, Baraka has no more screen time. Then Baraka just fades away.
See you later.
Maybe fade away in editing right now, Sonic.
Okay, sure. I need you to thank you. There we go. That makes the effect easier.
Oh my fucking knees! Oh my god, I'm so old.
We all know have our knee issues.
Knee
Yeah, like-
issues.
Knees.
I mean, I think Knee's a great Tekken player. I have no issue with him.
That's right. People are hyped that he's coming back for Brian. Anyways, but yeah, like that video was a lot of fun. I appreciate like a lot of the support that I've got with the comments. I gotta say though,
You besmirched my good name though, Sonic. You besmirched
one of my
good name.
favorite parts when the reaction was going on, we were in the live chat in Discord in the server, and then when I was talking about like Sindel's outfit is supposed to be maybe combat orientated, but like these random like freaking belts and like high heels. Okay, but to be fair though, like that's more of an NRS issue. Like every female lady character is wearing high heels, and when I say that, it's like Snake's face, the fourth Snake heaven.
High heels? Okay, to be fair, that's more of an NRS issue.
And then like I saw you in the chat being like, Sonic, stop.
I was like Walter White, like Sonic.
The funniest thing is when that happened, like there were like 10 people in my live chat because we were like in the server in the voice chat, like they were all bursting laughing when they saw your comment. They were just like Snake. It was amazing.
Walter White
You
from
should
the car.
record those. You should record those live reactions like that. And maybe like
yeah.
a bonus,
You should.
a bonus video, or like at the end of the series, you're like, here's some highlights from it, and it's like, well, here's people laughing at that joke. And I'm like,
That could be pretty fun.
It's also really easy to cut to if you're feeling a bit lazy when you're editing and you're just exhausted. You just cut to the chat. Easy.
Well, what I do when I'm lazy is I use my own gameplay reaction to like pad out the time.
Yeah,
you see the
that's
little trick there. Yeah, just saying.
pad out the time as if his videos aren't already like 30 plus minutes long.
Actually, more recently they're 20 minutes. Oh, the next two are gonna be 30 minutes because I have like so much multiverse shit I have to complain about. So that's gonna be long.
That's my video too, actually. I was complaining about Shao Kahn. I was bringing back my Mortal Kombat 1 Killed Blank series. But when I was complaining about Shao Kahn, all it ended up being was just me mostly complaining about the timeline shenanigans and how they don't make sense. I was like, wait a minute, like Chronica controls time, and as far as I'm concerned, Liu Kang got her powers also. Like, you shouldn't be able to control biology. Certain realms should not be deleted from existence. And I was like, wait a minute, isn't every realm like a piece of the one being? So wouldn't they be like deleting God's leg? Like, how does Chaos Realm just not exist? This is very confusing.
Unless you rebuilt the universe in a way where the one being doesn't exist. It's the only way it makes sense to me. Also, I realised I kind of look like XQC, and I'm very concerned about that.
Chat. What do you think?
I shouldn't make fun of him like this because I stutter like that all the time. So this is not trying to make fun of him for that, but there's talks. I'm going to do the worm over here right now.
That's just French Canadian, apparently. That's how French Canadians talk, from what I've heard.
Damn.
It's not an XQC thing specifically. He just is talking really fast because, like a lot of streamers, he is on something. That guy is on a lot of caffeine or something else to stay very wired.
Or gamer subs. Use code UnderDawg.
I still haven't tried this soup yet. I want to try their soup. They have ramen now, and I still haven't tried their ramen.
That seems cool.
Yeah. The amount of salt in it gives me pause. There's so much salt in this.
The whole thing about the one being and like how if you delete realms, does that chop off his leg? Because like Liu
Or
Kang
make him more
probably
powerful,
was, like,
technically. Because it seems like Liu Kang merged Outworld and Edenia. But yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like I think Chaos Realm doesn't exist, so it's just like he definitely has rearranged however the fuck that works about the one being in the realms and the Elder
Which you shouldn't
Gods.
be able to
That's
do.
all been changed.
It's one thing that they
Yeah.
need to address, but I think overall, like, it depends how you view the one being in relation to the Titans, because, you know, like, the two writers had different ideas about what the hierarchy of power was.
Yeah.
You know, like, the hierarchy of power in the MK universe is about to change. But yeah, so I imagine that I personally imagine the one being was probably a Titan, if anything, and then Liu Kang.
That's a cute headcanon.
The other Titans aren't around either, so it's probably like every timekeeper was like, I'm just going to erase these Titans from ever existing, go back to the very, 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 very beginning, before they existed. There's no life, all gone. Now we're going to make something here. Because it's the only way it really makes sense.
But then there's still more problems, right? Like, because I was asking why, I was like saying, okay, if we're getting the idea that Liu Kang can just do anything for some reason, like he just controls everything, it still begs the question, why is Edenia now called Outworld when it's clearly Edenia? And if Liu Kang really wanted to keep Kitana's family safe, because he still cares about her, despite him being a different being now, why would he merge the realms? Because Shao should be in his own realm, separate from Sindel. They weren't in the same realms originally. So it's like, why would this being who wants to keep Shao weak and away from all of his people he cares about put him in the same realm? Like, it's just really, it doesn't make any sense. The more I think about it, the more my head hurts. I'm like, nothing about this new timeline makes any sense.
Merciful to the villains, at least
He can
in
be
his
merciful
own
and let
way.
him stay in his own realm, Sonic.
Well, I think
I even said, I had one
respects
idea. I said,
General
what if
Shao's
Sindel merged the
powers.
realms? That would be a cool twist. They may have been in like part 3 or something.
Well,
but
I think
we never had to see that.
he does.
Because I think the idea was supposed to be that he made Shao like loyal to Outworld and to the royal family. Like, so he needed Sindel to be someone above him that he would like be devoted to. Whereas if he's off in his own realm, he might start getting ideas again. I mean, he does now, but that's mainly because Shang Tsung comes in and says, "Hey,
Yeah.
ambition." He's like, oh, "Never thought about that before. Ambition." Oh.
Yeah, literally,
There's so
technically
many
speaking,
tiny
if
things.
it wasn't for Titan Shang Tsung, like everything should have worked according to plan.
Yeah.
Shang Tsung and Quan Chi wouldn't
my
have
issue
been
is-
evil.
Yeah, my issue is not that it doesn't work according to plan. Sorry, my main point I brought up was just that I wanted to make it about Shao Kahn, and then ended up being like a 5+ minute rant about just how the new timeline is all responsible for like these things I don't like about the new Shao and all that confusing nonsense, and what have it. And there was one more thing I could have brought up, but I didn't want to because I even jokingly go, okay, I'm off track. It's a Shao Kahn video, not a new timeline makes no sense video. But there's one more thing I could have mentioned because I go back, I go, by the way, apparently General Shao is a race of people now, whereas I think before Shao Kahn was his own being, just like Raiden was like his own being kind of. But anyway, there's a flashback that shows Shao's ancestors taking down Onaga. This is already confusing because originally Shao was alive during that time period. So it's really odd that not only is Shao weaker and a different species and looks different and is in a different realm, the wrong realm, but also he's just younger apparently too. Like he wasn't
Was he
around
in
during
that
Onaga's
flashback?
reign.
I thought that was
No,
like
even
my
in
family.
Reiko's- It's his ancestors, because even in Reiko's retelling, it's the ancient ancestors of Shao. So he's really young compared to those people, apparently.
Which
And I'm like,
is
what happened to
funny.
Shao just being alive for a long time?
It's funny when you think about it. That Liu Kang's like, "Oh, I made it so Shao would be like a powerless nobody," and it's like, then why'd you give him such a legendary lineage that defeated the great Onaga?
Yeah.
It's like saying, "I made Kung Lao a meaningless nobody," and it's like he's still descended from the great Kung Lao who still won the tournament and everything. Like that's still,
I
it's
have
still
a
there. But Kung
quick
Lao
question
is
for you, Snake.
his descendant.
Yes. Quick question for you, Snake, because you're the lore guy, and I could be wrong about this, and I don't mind being wrong because it's all very loosey-goosey in a lot of the Mortal Kombat lore anyway about this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is General Shao and Raiden, are they created by the Elder Gods? Is that how they came to be? I don't think it's ever stated they have dads or anything.
Now, when you say General Shao, do you mean Shao Kahn?
Sorry, Shao Kahn and Raiden, they're like lesser gods, right?
In
Were they
Deception,
created by the Elder
infected.
Gods?
In Deception, when you talk to people in Elder Realm and Chaos Realm, they speak backwards, and you can reverse it. Like one of the famous ones is you reverse it, and it just says like, "Oh, look out for Damashi. He's actually Onaga." So like, they just straight up tell you, but it's reversed, so you don't know. And one of them says that Shao Kahn is of the same race as Raiden, and that's where the at least theory that he may have been the protector god of Outworld at some point, who then got more directly involved in Outworld politics and took over, may have come from. So it's the suggestion is kind of like he was the Raiden to Onaga's Liu
Yeah, I knew
Kang,
all
perhaps.
that. My question is more specific. I'm just wondering, how did Raiden and Shao Kahn come to exist? Were they born from other gods, or did the Elder Gods literally make them, or is it ever stated? Because I don't think we ever hear about Raiden's dad or mom, or
No,
so were they just made by the
Yeah.
Elder Gods to watch over the realms? Like,
Well, as far as we know, they were just created by the Elder Gods. Nothing's ever really been suggested at all,
what I thought.
other than
Yeah.
Annihilation said that Shinnok was their father, and then
We
then their MK versus DCU bios claim they're brothers, which would presumably then still keep
Yeah, I love
the
that.
Shinnok thing, but that's not even brought up in the game, so I don't know why it's there. So like, for years I thought it was just DC writers who knew nothing and just watched the movies, not actual MK writers who wrote that game. But yeah,
definitely don't think about that in the canon. Yeah.
The family stuff properly has only really started coming up in 11 with Chronica, Shinnok, and Cetrion, and then Raiden and Fujin down here. Like, yes, where's Dog?
He literally left, so he's you're talking to the audience now, basically. You know.
I can't believe we are joined by special guest Hassan Piker. So
Keep going.
yeah, so as far as I'm aware, there's no actual explanation at all. We just have to assume the Elder Gods existed first, they made the realms, and then they created lesser gods to watch over these realms.
I want to say history behind the warriors stated in the video that like when the Elder Gods are creating like the realms after they split the one being, it's like Raiden was a demigod created and stuff like that. I want to say he says that in one of his in one of his explanation videos. That's what I remember. But you can kind of look it up.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever actually been stated. I think that's just like an inference. That's like probably what it's supposed to be, but they've never. I'm pretty sure they've never actually stated outright.
Yeah, there's a TLDR for you,
from.
dog, because you skipped out like 2 minutes of the conversation.
I had to pee again. I'm sorry. I don't like stopping everyone.
It was your question.
Well, you answered it. You said that the Elder Gods made them, which was my only question. I knew everything else y'all were saying.
I said the Elder
I knew
Gods
all that.
probably made him. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going with, though, because my point was that, like, how did Liu Kang not only nerf Shao, but somehow make him a different type of being altogether? Because his origin should at least be the same, and then Liu Kang messed with him. But the fact that his origin is completely changed, and I'm like, but then again, Melina and Kitana are also siblings now,
Like,
and other weird changes.
half
that
the roster
it's never
is a different
said,
origin.
And it's never said if Liu Kang did that, or it's simply a matter of things changing each time you reset the timeline, which could also be possible.
Well,
but
the assumption at least is that yes, he made those decisions. And
yeah, it is the assumption.
We don't know how in depth he was able to get, because obviously some of this stuff is like, well, he made sure Johnny Cage still exists, right? So he has to have influence up until the present day, not just these people are going to exist here, set it into motion or something, or maybe he made destiny so that it would happen. It's one of the things that the games need to address, because earlier on it was like, oh, things just are the way they are because why not? That's just how it is. Like there's no like cosmic significance to like us existing. We just do, right? That's fine. But then when it's like, well, if you just say, okay, well, this person created this universe and influenced people of our generation in certain ways, it's like, well, what about us? Like they must have influenced our existence, you know?
Yeah.
So we have to assume that Liu Kang is still influencing things to a point, either through creating a destiny and like setting the way things are going to go, basically no free will up until a point, or he just like every now and then will just pop in and go, okay, well, this is where Johnny Cage. Because remember, Johnny Cage is like 20 years younger in this timeline, because originally he was active in the 90s in MK1, but now he's active with a smartphone. So clearly it's meant to be like the 2020s now. So Johnny's like 20, 30 years younger than he was originally.
Yeah, true.
The thing about Liu Kang that's like, I'm looking forward to really diving into this character in my final chapter video, because it's like, it's supposed to be, on one hand, Liu Kang in the freaking intro of Mortal Kombat 1. Not the story one. I mean, when he's opened the game and like the freaking galaxy's flying around, he's like, I've created this new canvas, and you have the choice to be whatever you want. You know, it's all up to you. I just made you, and like where you want to go is all up to you. It's your choice. But then in the story mode, constantly contradicting this and being like, you sit down. You're the empress. I set this up, and shall be your loyal follower. And then this thing, it does happen like this, and then this thing didn't happen like this. But I didn't manipulate anything else. And then like literally, there are parts in intro dialogues and other parts in the game where people will catch Liu Kang being like, "You contradicted that. Hey, you said we had choice, but I know you did that." And Liu Kang's like, it had to be done. It had to be done. So it's literally like, I really wish NRS committed to like the fact that like, Liu Kang is this more omnipotent like being where like he has to make the hard choices, because on the surface he's a good guy 100%, like that's how they're portraying it. But it's like there's so many things that's like, okay, but then why does Tarkat exist? And the intro dialogues, he's like, sorry Baraka, I can't help you. It's like, what the fuck, why not? It's like there are so many things that's like implies more of like he has to make the hard choices, but they kind of skim through it like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. I think there was like an intro like Smoke is like, why are my parents dead? And Liu Kang's like, it had to happen. That happened. Like, there's no way I could have prevented that. It had to happen and stuff like that.
Maybe
and I
it
really
would have been
wish
too
they
much like
committed to that.
MK9, but it would have been interesting if Liu Kang, and we don't know why this is, but Mortal Kombat 1 starts off with Liu Kang being a regular guy again, and we're just kind of like, that's weird given all the promotional material we've seen and like even the ending of MK11. But then it's revealed after he got everything set in motion and the way it's supposed to be, he had Garrus make him mortal and brainwash him, and now Garrus is in charge of just watching over it and making sure it doesn't get messed up. But that would explain why, like, that would be a much easier way to justify the weird changes in how it all works without having to explain it directly, and also make Liu Kang not an asshole who watched it all happen. It's the whole "did Captain America allow 9/11 to happen" all over again thing. You know? It's that whole meme all over again.
I guess he doesn't really mind
Cap?
whatever happens in his little Minecraft server. It's like, okay, you can die, you can do whatever. It's my little Minecraft server. Who cares? It's the moment when somebody hacks in. It's like, okay, this is unacceptable ethically and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a problem that the supplemental material is the pre-fight intros. Like, that's where we get all the nitty-gritty details. But it's just not enough because of the format of that. It's just a character has to bring something up, but then Liu Kang only has one line to respond. We don't have anything more substantial. The game really does need like some kind of proper like a glossary section or something, or little short stories like Killer Instinct got. Just something where where Dominic can just go in and really get into, okay, here's what's going on. Maybe you play through the game, and as you master each character, you get like a page from like Liu Kang's like journal, basically explaining his rationale for various things. Okay, so you master Shao Kahn, and General Shao, and he's like, okay, here's what I did to General Shao, here's why. And it's basically what I would have done with the arcade endings, but you could do it like that. Like, that's another reward for mastery. I think that's a way cooler reward than General Shao in gold. It's lore explaining why this is the way it is. You could even do it in multiple parts. Like every 10 ranks you do, you get a piece of the story. Like, well, this was what the problem I had to face. Next 10 ranks, well, here's how I fixed it. Next 10 ranks, here's where things deviated and why it deviated. Yeah. I think letting Dominic really like go in, because I kind of get, because of how different it is, I personally choose to believe that he would want to really flesh some of this stuff out. So this would be a good opportunity for him to give an excuse to just go in and just explain some stuff. Like, maybe they want to keep some of it open just in case they want to make it more important later or go in a different direction, and that's fine. But we have nothing. We have no story explanation for pretty much anything Liu Kang does, other than, I wanted the bad guys to be nobodies, but that doesn't explain why Quan Chi is now an Outworlder, or why Shang Tsung, an Earthrealmer, is now an Outworlder, which means he would live longer and have more of a chance to do something. Why are you so dumb?
In my opinion, it really feels like that the arcade endings and a lot of the intro dialogues are like so much cut content in the story mode that like Dominic wanted to put in, but he just could not because of time constraints. He just like, well, fuck, all this thing that I have built up for this worldview, I just can't share. So I'm gonna try my best to shove all that into the intro dialogue. The Kaitens, ooh, Master Kai in the Shell of the Monks, ooh. It's like all these things that he wanted to put in the story mode that just could not fit anywhere, or like any of this like additional worldview stuff. He just, because like the intro dialogue sometimes they don't just feel like funny references. They do sometimes feel like, here's some lore that we don't mention in the story mode whatsoever. It's like Baraka is some sort of tribute and like warrior, and like he worked for like he was actually working for General Shao. You wouldn't have known that if it weren't for the intro dialogues. It's like there's so much of this. It feels desperate because like WB just wouldn't allow them to have more time, and or like no, all the story stuff, just throw it away. We don't have time. It's like, but I just wanted you guys to see some of this stuff. The game's out.
Another way you could do the lore is, if you remember, in Deadly Alliance there are a bunch of CG renders in the crypt that will be like here's our CG render of Onaga's tomb, then here's some lore about it, then here's Sonya kicking Kano off a roof from MK3, and it's like a bit of lore there to explain why he has that lock of hair on his chest because he ripped it out of Sonya's head back in MK3. They could, if they bring back the crypt, they could do that. So here's a render, here's like General Shao, young and weak, what he would have looked like, and then or just drawn out, where you could just get like the ending artist to draw it, it's fine, but just some art of like of weak General young Shao, and it's like, here's some lore explaining what Liu Kang did, and then you can get that in the crypt, and you can piece it together from these little bits and pieces you get from going through the crypt to find out about the characters.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate it's invasions mode, and that's nothing to do with the main story.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. anyways, let's continue on with the other people, because thanks for listening to my Sendo video stuff. It was fun listening to Liu Kang rant. What have you guys been doing? What, Snake? Holy shit! Your new Battle of the Realms video. Wow! Oh my gosh! The tier list. Wow. Well, we talked about tier list last time, but the Battle of Realms.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned the fact that I was ill right when Mortal May started, so I wasn't able to actually do a proper Mortal May. And now my motivation is limited because I spent like 2 weeks not making videos. So I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Right now I'm making a video about voice actors getting recast in the remakes of Japanese games, but only on the English side, because we've just got leaks that Persona 4 is doing the same thing, because 3 of the voice actors, including Yuri Lowenthal of Mortal Kombat fame, those 3 of the actors are not coming back. So Persona 3 Reload replaced all the voice actors, but it did keep the actors, some of the main actors in different minor roles. But this one seems to not even be doing that. It seems to be just completely starting fresh with everyone. Which we expected, but now we have like firm confirmation. Unless it's like a Bayonetta situation where like the actors are just lying. Which I hope is not the case. Like, I know it's sad to be like, it's kind of weird to be like, I hope they're not lying. I hope they really were genuinely screwed over by Atlas, which is not a great way to put it, but
I will be supporting Bayonetta 3. Boycott Bayonetta. Oh my gosh, that video is legendary in a weird way.
So I'm working on that, which means obviously not an MK video. So, because the plan was to just go, okay, I got better by the second half of the month, so just go into half of June. Because of other videos that I want to make, it's not going to work out that way. I think I'm just going to make more MK videos than usual in the span of the next month or so. But Mortal May is not formally a thing; it's kind of just scattered around. But yeah, so I made. I did a tier list of the MK movies and TV shows. Some people got mad about that. I don't care. Fuck you. Then that was just an excuse to have an image, a graphic at the start of a video about my re-edit of Battle of the Realms, where I laid out, here's what my edit was, because I can't release that edit because that's like turbo illegal. Like maybe in like 20 years, maybe in like 20 years,
should have gone for it anyway. Just go for it.
I need to see it on YouTube, like the original movie, like on YouTube in full, in like 20 years time. Maybe I'll be able to do that, but until then, no, I can't legally do that. But so I lay out what my edits were and show off what the edits were, and people seem to like that. I'm struggling to come up with more like particular MK video ideas at the minute, because there's some I've got where I've scripted. Like I planned to do Chaos Reigns Wasted Potential back when it came out, but I just had too many. It was just a bunch of smaller ideas and it was kind of scattershot. So it's like, should I take some of these out and expand them into separate videos, or just do one and just do them all in one go? And so when I struggle with ideas, I'm like, well, I don't know what to do, and then I move on to something else because I think I probably have ADHD. So I move on to something different instead, and then eventually I come back to it, and then I make a decision. It probably will be one video, hopefully within the next month, but I can't guarantee it. Also, don't ask about the critique. I don't know when that's going to happen. It will happen. It's probably going to be about 3 hours. I don't foresee it being 4 like MK11.
Oh yeah.
The story mode is not nearly as bad as MK11's. Holy shit. It just drops off at about halfway through when you look at the whole thing in complete form. But yeah, so it's going to be long still. I have no idea when it's going to be. So don't ask about it.
All right. Thank you, Snake.
Don't make me do the Power Rangers rant about this.
Dog, what's up with you? How you doing recently? You got some big projects coming up?
Well, yeah, right now I'm actually doing a thumbnail, but you're probably referring to the comic book.
TrueUnderDawg already talked about his comic, so I'm skipping this part.
I would say, like, let's move on to the next topic, but I also do feel like we are getting to the point where, like, we can kind of end the episode in terms of our
I want
timeline.
to keep going. I want to keep going. Come on, next topic.
Do you guys want to hear me gush about Expedition 33?
No. Let's end
Wow. Wow. Snake, feet. Like, one of the main characters is literally bare feet. Like, she literally flies, and then you see her souls, like, 24/7. Like, while she's just flying around.
Yes, I'm aware.
I swear, this is more proof that America is the last gaming country to just give the fans, trying to recenter my camera, to just give the fans what they want. They're the ones being like, no, you don't want sexy outfits. You just think you do, little gooner. I'll give you a better outfit. No, says France. We'll give you the feet. We'll give you the feet. We'll give you the grippers. In fact, they'll be pointed right at the camera, like the soles, because she flies. There you go. And meanwhile, same with Marvel Rivals. It's like, what's that? You like skimpy outfits? Here you go. Just here. What, you like Venom's butt? Here's dancing for Venom's butt. Look at him throw it back.
I mean, Expedition 33 has swimsuit outfits for characters too.
You like Sue Storm's feet? The Malice skin's going to give you Sue Storm's feet. Oh yeah, they're doing the Marvel swimsuit stuff, aren't they? That's great.
That's right. That's right. We're getting some of the. We got the Squirrel Girl swimsuit recently, but guys, we need the most important thing. We need the thong. We need the thong. Okay. Like they promised.
The thing?
The thong.
Oh, the thong for the thing.
Thong.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thong. But speaking of like a fan service shenanigans, did you know in Expedition 33, like at least like when the characters are wearing the swimsuit outfits, it's like there are like jiggle physics. But not only jiggle physics for the ladies, for the men, it's like you. I remember someone's like doing like a test footage of like the jiggle physics for like the ladies, and for the men, it's like they shake the men and it's like the ass is jiggling, and so is the bulge.
Hell yeah!
It's like,
Zangief.
wow,
Let's go, Zangief physics.
They're thinking of it all, basically. But yeah, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I have not heard of this game, and then during the entire month of May, I like beat the game and 100%ed like the entire thing, like just a couple days ago. It is not even close the best game of the year, like with what it provides and what it does.
Oh, you mean it's the game of the year hands down? The way you said that made it sound like it's not even close to being the game of the year, but you mean it is the game of the year and the competition's not even close. Gotcha.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry if I did make that sound
I was very
weird.
I was like, what a diss. Oh wait, never mind. He just okay.
Yeah, the opposite. My bad. I must be thinking of the exact opposite. But man, it's kind of hard to like talk about like this game if I'm trying to like promote it. But I feel like you guys are like RPG. Wait, are you guys RPG fans? I know Snake is. I'm not sure how big of a RPG fan Dog is.
I like them. The problem is I don't have any free time, but I do like them. They're fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of Atlas constantly putting out new RPGs. Like, dude, fucking stop. I've not even finished Persona 5 Tactica. I'm only just now at the point where I'm finishing up Persona 3 Reload. You're bringing out another Persona 4 one. I've had Soul Hackers 2 for like 2 years, not even touched it. SMT 5 Vengeance is out. I need to play that at some point. Stop.
Yeah, that's the issue. It's like
Stop.
I feel like this.
Oh my god.
I feel like for some people maybe like a time length might be an issue for like if they want to pick up this game or not. This game, there is a lot of fucking things I can gush about this game. But let's talk about that aspect of like the time length. The average people or like the average game length that is stated is like this game is 30 hours. But if you want to do the side content, which is like a lot, because it's like the game has like this FF7 like open world like section like in the game that you can like traverse around and go to areas you want to like go there and explore and like get the side content, get the side outfits and stuff like that. That could take 60 hours. I think my playthrough was like 78 hours personally. But if you really like want to just get the main content, you want to just go through like the story, which is the best part of it obviously, you can actually beat it in 10 hours. Like you can actually just like rush through the story, like go through everything main content wise and stuff like that. So however long you feel like playing really just depends on you. Like if you're jiving with this, then take your time. If you're not, then just rush the main story. Like you have no issues with that. This game
Sonic,
also does.
I just gotta say, because you're talking about how long it takes to finish the games and all that. I just gotta mention, I hate that I feel this way, but when I'm editing or working hard at this computer, and I see your little name pop up on Steam and you're playing a game, yet again, I'm like, this motherfucker is living my life. I can't remember the last time I got to play a game because I wanted to, as opposed to it being my job.
I work hard every day, and once I get to my quota, then I go ahead and find time to play video games. Basically, I will admit though, I have been playing a lot of games recently. I'm not gonna talk about Night Rain or Deltarune because like I don't want to drag this episode on, but I have been finding more time doing that basically because I have like I have a quota basically, and I meet the quota per day whenever I work basically. Although
and I can't even say anything because I went to Hawaii recently, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, I saw you play Mortal Kombat 1 recently on Steam. But yeah,
that was for a video, I promise you. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, if you see me turn on Mortal Kombat 1, that's also why.
Yeah. Whoops, womp womp.
Womp womp. Another thing to mention is something that I think like Snake also would appreciate is that this game, from reviews, I've heard like a very interesting thing. Like the creator has stated, it's like people in the Asia regions don't really jive with the tragedy of like European storytelling that this has, and then people in Europe are also having a difficult time with the game because of its difficulty, and then like he finds it to be quite interesting. And in my opinion, I played this game on, there are 3 difficulties, and I played it on expert, which is the hardest difficulty, and I still found it to be too easy personally.
Yeah, that's what Asmongold was doing too, I think, was playing it on that difficulty.
Yeah, I just think it's if you're a parry god, then it's too easy. But that's the thing about this game that I've also heard. It's like you have 3 difficulties. You have like, actually, let me explain the game mechanics a bit, because it's the UI and the way the game like looks does have that Persona 5 vibe, and like even the director has stated like I love that game, so that's why I kind of like there's some inspiration there. But like it's not just about like a back and forth like RPG classic wise. When your character is performing an action or doing an ability, think of Paper Mario. So like use an ability, then you got like this, gotta time the swing, ting ting, in order to use your abilities and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of makes it more like you're engaged with the RPG. But then when it's the enemy's turn, what do? Do you just take the damage and that's it? For 90% of the time, no. What you do is the enemies are gonna hit you. You then press a button, and then you can dodge. So, or parry basically. So the game incentivizes you to like be on your toes even when it's the enemy's turn. So it's like the enemies are gonna hit you once, then you parry, and you can, if you get a successful parry, your character does a counterattack, and it's like really fun and awesome. But here's a really thing that I want to mention, this thing that like he might appreciate. If you don't like that shit, if you don't like parry, if you don't like dodging, or you just want to make this like a traditional RPG kind of experience, play it on easy. You can play the entire game on easy mode without engaging with the parrying and dodging mechanics, which is like that's a core mechanic. Like they obviously want you to like participate with it, but you don't have to because you got the easy mode in the game, which is changeable throughout your entire playthrough. So if you're having like however you feel with the game, you can actually change that, all that kind of stuff and whatnot. The opposite of a FromSoft game, which I know Snake would complain about basically. But I think this is a good game for people who aren't a fan of RPGs to give it a shot because of that like parry mechanics and action shenanigans and all that kind of stuff. There are a lot of aspects I can gush about, and the gameplay is one of those things that like you can watch other people talk about and stuff, but if you see footage and it looks fun, I think you should try it out for that aspect. I want to bring up just like 3 things about the main game. One of them was the gameplay. The other is the soundtrack. Say like a regular RPG type kind of game, you'd be like, let's enter an area. This area we need like the main hub like song, and then we need like a battle theme, and then maybe we'll add a boss theme when you fight the bosses area. And the guy who was making the soundtrack was like, okay, cool, I'll make 8. Huh? It's like this person went too hard in terms of like making the soundtrack in this game. There's like 200 songs in this game. Nice. It's like you didn't need to go that hard. Yes, and like I recommend you guys can just like listen to the playlist of the songs, and it's like they're all bangers. It's really good. What's up, Snake?
I have watched a friend play a bit of the game, and I've noticed that the soundtrack, at least at certain battle themes, sounds very near Automata, or like near generally.
It's got the opera. Yes, it's got the singing and stuff like that. But the game also has a lot of changing genres in terms of like the music. So there will be like jazz themes when you're fighting. There's like one of the best songs in this game is like a character's main theme, and it's like a jazz battle theme, and it only plays during his battle. Like the entire playthrough, it's like, I like that song. Oh, I'm glad you like it. That's the only time you're gonna listen to it. Like, huh? Because there's so many other songs that they have. Some people are like saying like, without spoiling too much, like one of the final bosses in the game is like, oh, this is just Bury the Light opera version and stuff like that. Just like the freaking guitar, it's like with the singing, so like, oh shit, this goes fucking hard. The soundtrack, I recommend even if you don't play the game to just like listen to the soundtrack. It is like phenomenal. But then the third thing I want to talk about, and this could be recency bias, but the story of this game might be the best story I've ever experienced in a video game.
Oh, wow.
It is really good. And it's also very unique because like this is a FRPG, you know, instead of a JRPG, it's a French RPG. So a lot of the culture, a lot of like the habits that the people have, you can really feel like it influences the game and stuff, which is really nice because I'm not criticizing Japan or anything like that, but like I played so many like Japanese type games, so it's like you can kind of envision that like Japanese culture all the time in like RPGs and like kind of video games. So it kind of feels refreshing to say like French culture in a way. I remember someone like talked about as a comparison. It's like, you know, in your Japanese medias, it's like, oh, you got the tsunderes, you got like the people who are like don't want to express their own emotions, so they kind of hide it all the time, which makes more conflict in the stories and stuff like that. And then in this game, it's like, I'm depressed. Want some wine? Let's have some wine, guys. Let's talk about it and have some wine and whatnot. There's a lot of that.
Lots of wine drinking.
Yeah.
We are French. And I saw the swimsuits are all French too and whatnot.
Exactly. You got the actually I heard it's like in New Game Plus you can actually unlock the baguette as a weapon. It's like literally like a baguette.
Better be unbreakable. It sounds like a mime outfit.
So in the game there are like these optional mimes that you can fight, and they are like, well, at first I think they're kind of hard, but like they kind of become easier the more you fight, but when you get used to them. But yes, those mimes that you could fight, you're like, oh, this is such a difficult fight, and I finally did it. What did I get? Congratulations, you get the mine outfit. Congratulations, you get your character wearing a long wig. That was it. You don't get any like weapons. You get a wig. My small tiny spoiler. This maybe skip ahead of 1 minute, but I thought this was kind of funny. You can fight these mimes all over the entire world, and you just get costumes and hairstyles from them. The ultimate mime, like the strongest mime in the game, you are forced to use your character to like have like one character to fight that mime, and it's like the hardest challenge you can have, like one of the hardest challenges in the game. And when you beat the mime, the reward you get is that your character can be bald now. That's the ultimate reward. Every character can be bald if you fight this mime.
Hell yeah. That's cute because that means it's like, it feels like that Japanese kind of idea where the fun was actually beating the enemy. It's not the reward. It's the challenge itself. Just like how I think if you beat the final Valkyrie in God of War, there's not a huge reward, I don't think, for beating it. It's just like, yeah, you did it. You beat the biggest boss in the game.
A little bit, but at the same time, I do still think getting a bald outfit's fun. There is, I don't know.
Oh, you're being serious about that. I thought you were being facetious.
I mean, it's both, you know. I mean, getting a bald outfit's funny too. Like, I kind of like that. But yeah, man, I don't even know how to talk about the story. Do you guys know the premise of the story, by the way?
No.
But yeah, like, long story short, the premise of the story is essentially like, out of nowhere in a regular like universe on our world, like a fracture happened where like a gigantic paintress has shown up in front of a monolith, and on the monolith it says 100, and every year like the number like goes down by 1. Like she will wake up, paint the number to 99, then go back to sleep. A year later to 98. And what this means for humanity is whatever number it lands on, whatever like however old you are, you will die. You will Thanos snap whenever that number goes to. So when that's been going on, people were like, oh shit, like we are going to be like dead in 100 years from now. So they started the expeditions basically, where they sent out a group of people to go and find a way to kill the paintress, stop her from like ending humanity essentially. And the game takes place on like year 33. It's been like gone down all the way to year 33. So the oldest person who lives in the world is 33 years old now. So it's that's kind of the beginning of the story. It's a really interesting scenario since like how would culture be when the oldest person in the world is 33 and stuff like that. It's and this is one of those stories that like that's just the tip of the iceberg. I don't want to give away much else in the story. It is just like beautifully well done and twists and turns. Have you guys heard of Maze Runner? Have you guys seen Maze Runner?
No to both, sadly.
But like in that story, it's basically just like kids get thrown into a maze, and it's like, what the fuck? Why are we here? We forgot our memories, and it's like we gotta like we can draw the maze and like study what happens, like going how to like beat this game. And the entire first like book in the movie is just like them figuring out what's going on in the maze and getting out of it essentially. This beginning kind of reminded me of that because it's like that's the premise of the story. Is just they go on their expedition, they find out if there's a way to go kill the paintress, they go on their epic adventure. They know it's dangerous because no other expedition has successfully come back for the last 100 years, so they know that this is probably a suicide mission. And so like, but once you get to like the end of this quote unquote maze story, once you kind of like, because in the Maze Runner it's like they escape the maze and then they're like, oh shit, so this is the truth, why we were in the maze, what's going on outside of the maze and all that kind of stuff. Once you get to like the truth of what's going on into the story, like everything changes around like how good like this story is, and like, oh wow, so that's why all this like insignificant shenanigans were happening and all that stuff. And like it's one of those stories I think back to like 4 or 5 different like medias I've experienced, and I'm like, this one just does it so good when like compared to that. And I will say this, even if you, again, like I said with the soundtrack, even if you don't play this game, I highly recommend at least looking up like the story of this game. It's like really good. It is like my favorite video game story. I can't think of another one that's as good as this one basically. And again, I could gush about many other things, but I kind of want to just like just not drag on for too long. I don't want this to be the Sonic gushing about Expedition 33 for an hour like section, but I'll just like leave it out here unless if you guys have got any questions.
I'm 33.
Oh, it just like fades away. No.
There was a lot of like, I remember there was like when people were like live streaming, it's like when the Thanos scene was happening, it's like because I was watching like what was it, Sea-Dog VA and Trash Chase playing this, and it's like everyone in the chat was like R.I.P. Garnt, R.I.P. like Chris Broad and stuff like that. It's like R.I.P. like these other streamers when they're like fading away. That means you've only got a year left to play the game, Snake. Oh my gosh, you gotta beat the game or else you're gonna fade away. You're gonna gourmosh. That's what they call it, the gourmosh.
You must kill the painter snake.
Yes, there's a lot of phrases that are really funny. They're the gourmosh, the nevrons, the gestrels, putain. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm learning French playing this game. Hee.
Snake can use his dry wit and vernacular to just make the painter really depressed, and she'll just give up and leave, and she won't finish the painting. To be fair though, like
she's literally depressed 24/7 with the fact that she's like this for like an entire year, and she'll be like, okay. so that's not really gonna work if she's already depressed.
Gotcha. Dang.
I kind of need people to play this game so I could gush more shit about this game, because like
it's pretty one of those games, right? Like, I'm guessing, or is it like taking the world over, or no?
It kind of is. I remember seeing like a tweet that they made recently that was pretty cute. It was like, after this game has been released for like 33 days, the game has sold like 3.3 million copies, and so it's like you can't make this shit up or something. It was like, oh, and it's pretty successful. It's going really good for them from what I've heard.
Nice. I mean, I saw Asmongold playing it, so I'm like, if he's playing it, it's probably at least kind of mainstream. And he also showed that like he was playing on the hardest difficulty too. And all I saw from his little clip is he was killing these really tough enemies in just one move. And the chat was like, you're playing on easy? He's like, no, and he shows the difficulty. And he goes, no, it's an RPG, so if you just like research what the enemies are weak to and actually do some side missions, it looks like I'm playing on easy, but...
Yes, that's how I felt too. It's like, you can make bullshit... Actually, like, I've heard there's like a character who they kind of have the nerf because like this character has a move that can one-shot like the hardest bosses in the game and stuff like that, so like, okay. And I just didn't want to do that because I didn't want to make my gameplay too easy, but you can research some of the best like builds in the game and stuff, but that's kind of why I personally would just recommend just playing it like blind, unless if it's like you're getting really late and like you're just finishing the content, then maybe look up a build or two. Play at your own pace. That's how I would recommend it. But if you do find it hard, then maybe look up some builds because builds can make the game like much easier. Like that's why I feel like the game got pretty easy for me at the end personally. This is one of those games that's also like kind of a miracle it exists from behind the scenes like sources. It's like
I love how
30 people
like
team or 33 people team, and it's like some of these people came from like they were like Ubisoft or whatever, like former workers who they were like, what happened?
I just wanted to see the picture of Snake. He's like, huh?
Oh my gosh, what's up with the blurry Sonic next to me?
Yeah, Sonic looks like he's made of AI. Looks like an AI in between frame.
He does look very...
I also happen to be doing like
Dog's covering his face so no one knows that he's AI too.
Like I remember it's like the person who made the soundtrack was just someone they found on SoundCloud, and then the person who wrote the story was someone they randomly found on Reddit, and it's like the best story and soundtrack in video game history and stuff like that. And then it's like built from the ground up. Like I remember even like the director was saying like if this was made like an EA or some other big company, it's like just pitching the idea would take a year or two, which I don't have that time, so that's why I want to make this game now. And they spent like 5 or 7 years and just basically making this masterpiece essentially. I would say the only downside, and I don't even think this is too big of a critique, but the thing that I would mention is that this game is a double A game. And you can definitely tell the budget in aspects because it feels very Unity in that like the way the characters moves and like the 3D program and like and that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, there definitely is some of that, like if you play Unity games or like you can tell some of the movement or some of like the effects and stuff like that feel like that. But still, with that being said, the game is actually insanely beautiful, insanely well done, and it's still like the fact that they can make this game even happen is still a testament to time. I personally like would think like if other big game companies look at this game and how successful it is, and it's like they look at how like tens of millions of thousands that they put into their old game and it's not successful. It's like I imagine that Iron Man 1 meme where it's like Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
Warner Bros. Execs crying into the pillows.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It feels like that when playing this game. It's just like this is a for the people kind of game basically.
Yes.
Yeah, highly recommend it to anybody who, if you look at the footage, you're interested, like, give it a shot. It's really fun.
Nice.
Well, thanks for listening to my little rant, guys.
You sound like me when I was talking about BioShock back in the day. I fucking loved BioShock. I loved Dead Space. Those were my games, you know.
Gotta give those a shot someday. I have an ending for this episode. Just like I prepared an intro, I've got an ending.
Set us free, Sonic. Set us free.
All right, then. So, just like Mortal Kombat 1, this ending is also not going to be finished. I'm going to cut off myself before I say finished. That's how it's going to end.
There you go. Perfect.
Absolutely terrible chat. Tell him what a terrible, terrible host he is.
No one's going to be able to hear you. Ha ha ha.